What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in and putting some time into your options education on this fine Sunday. We're going to get started in just about, looks like 18 minutes, 8 seconds. All right, while we're waiting, why don't you let us know in chat which tickers you're watching for this week? That way, when Nick Shaheen gets here, he can focus his education on the tickers that you care about, looking at the technicals, looking at the fundamentals, and then putting them in perspective of what's going on in the broader market. So treat this session as an opportunity for you to get your questions answered by the man, to get a market overview that is in a more interactive format, and use this opportunity. All right, so be vocal, everyone participate. And I know that we've got some shy people, we got some shy folks. I think that for this group we've got about 20,000 people that are actually in the program. Now I don't know how many are going to show up to watch, but what we want to do is make this as effective as possible for you, so that you are actually learning while you're in the Benzinga Options program. So make sure you're giving us those tickers, and then I'm going to cheat a little bit. We're going to cheat. If we get up to 100 tickers, and that's way too many tickers for anyone to be looking at, I just want you to participate. You know what? Maybe I'll lower that. That's a bit much. Let's get 50 tickers that you're interested in hearing about in the chat. And if we get to that many tickers, I will drop in a coupon code for you to get $15 worth of free stuff. That could be a mug, a hat, even some of the t-shirts from the Benzinga swag store. So there's all kinds of cool stuff there. We can take a look at that. But as we go, I'll give you little incentives to unlock more higher value coupons. And that coupon I will drop will be only available to the first 12 people to use it. So get those tickers in the chat. And then also, as a substitute, if you don't have a particular ticker that you're interested in looking at, let us know what industry you want to look at. Let us know what sector you want to look at. We can take a top-down approach to this. That's totally fine. Or if you're just not sure where to start, let us know what specific questions you have about options trading, technical analysis, or fundamental analysis in general. We'll count that toward the total number of 50. I just want to see some comments from the folks that are here, get some active participation, shake out the nervousness, shake out the shyness that some of you guys have, because remember, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. That applies to this session. That also applies to your trading in general. So let's get those in here, and I'll drop that coupon code as soon as we count them up. I'm probably not going to get exactly 50, just because that's hard to count. But I'll be watching. We'll drop that in. And we will be getting started very soon. You see the countdown timer. So get excited. This is a very, very good opportunity for you to get some face-to-face with Nick. We also have with us a name that a lot of you probably already know. Rodrigo, give me the signal if you're comfortable coming on. Okay, I just got 2 thumbs up. You might know this guy. Rodrigo, how's it going, man?
How are you doing, Neil? How's everything going, man?
It's wonderful. I've got the ponytail swinging in the background. I'm ready to up my options game. I feel like I'm like, with options, especially when I see what Nick does, I feel like I'm at like a 15 to 20% understanding. And today, I just want to get to like 35% understanding.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get there. Obviously, it's part of like what we're trying to do, help option traders improve their trading. We really want to do that, and definitely part of getting them ready for that. I'm so excited about today's webinar. The feedback we get about these are amazing, so you guys are going to enjoy it. Get ready, pen and paper. This is time to ask the man the questions and get ready.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't even want to call these webinars anymore, because that's not what they are. These are just very fun community. This is like a block party, all right? We got the neighborhood of, we're all at Benzinga Options corner. We're all in the cul-de-sac. We got our table set up. We got lemonade. We got the Diet Coke out there for everybody, and ribs and everything else. We're here to have fun, to congregate with each other and to learn so that we can be successful this Monday and all through the week. That's what it's about, guys. Keep those tickers coming. Keep your specific questions coming. Let us know what you want to get out of the session so we make sure that it happens. Nick will see all of this. He will be interacting with you in chat. So it is a very interactive session, guys. This is not him talking at you. And guys, I think that we're up to enough. You know what? I think we're up to enough. So guys, just for getting all of your questions in, I just want to shout out a couple people. So we got the Dundada, thank you. Naren with Apple, and that's American Airlines, if I'm not mistaken. And then Tony Whitney. Not sure why. So you want to see how to set up an options trade on E-Trade. If that's what the question is, you should get that answered, because a lot of what Nick's research is conducted on, as well as his execution, is E-Trade. So you'll see that on the screen. We've got Riddle J11 with some DocuSign. We've been talking about that one quite a lot this week. So I think that will be an interesting one to talk about. And thank you guys for not dropping super obscure like biotech, like $3 stocks, because you can't trade options on them. So you guys already are a step ahead of many of the folks that we have on these sessions. So because you guys are dropping these in, KC also, you said tickets, KC. I saw that, but we knew you meant tickers. Smash that like button if you like this content. That's totally optional, but the main thing is I just want your participation, and I want you guys to get them as much out of this as possible. And then we've got Boeing here. Thank you, Angui Music. Hey, if you've got some music, you should share a link. Drop it in the chat. And then the first coupon code. All right, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to drop a link to the website, which is swag.benzinga.com. And I'm going to drop underneath that the coupon code that the first 12 people to go to the website and check out with this coupon code will get a $15 credit toward anything that they purchase. So if you just want to stay at 15, that's a cool hat. That's a number of things that you can get at that option. All right, Bobby, getting specific with the questions. How to put a stop loss on options? Excellent question. And we'll cover that with different brokerages. We'll make sure that you're able to do that with it. Actually, Bobby, let us know which brokerage you're using so we can get very specific with that. All right. So guys, here's the URL. All right. Swag.benzinga.com. The first 12 people to use coupon code GROWTH in all caps will get a $15 credit to the swag store. All right. Swag.benzinga.com. GROWTH is the coupon code. And what is the... Okay, so Eric's got a good question, but I want to leave up on the screen that coupon code. Swag.benzinga.com. GROWTH. That's just our first free gift for participating. Remember, during these educational sessions, participation gets rewarded. All right. And that's going to be in the form of mostly clothing, but we've got mugs, we've got a ton of cool stuff. So show your folks, show your significant other, show the people in the neighborhood that you're a serious trader, that you attended the block party with your Benzinga swag. Netflix, yes, that's going to be a good one. Good recommendations here. Good recommendations. Suggestions. The Dundada is really throwing them out. Bobby always supporting us with the algorithm. Thank you very much. But also keep in mind, this should be, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check. Okay, let me switch something really quick. Okay. Where we are right now, only subscribers may attend this event. There are probably a few stragglers that got in because this was on YouTube. You guys are lucky you get to get an inside look at what it's like to be a Benzinga Option subscriber. Everyone else, this is an exclusive club of Benzinga subscribers. All right. So keep those questions coming. Keep those ticker suggestions coming. And then let's say maybe about 30 minutes in, we'll unlock another swag coupon code for about $25. I think that's fair. So guys, in the meantime, Rodrigo, do you have anything that you want to share with folks about what they can expect to get out of the session? Rodrigo's audio. You might be muted, bro.
Yeah, I unmuted. I was muted, my bad. So,
Okay.
guys, if you're new into options, or even if you are like experienced this is pretty much like a great learning experience above everything. What you're about to witness here today, what we're going to do with Nick, we put a lot of effort, work here, based on your feedback, what you guys want to learn about, what you guys want to hear about when it comes to options. So just get ready to take that knowledge, be a sponge as you can, pen and paper, because session's about to start.
All right, yeah, and Casey, congrats on getting the hat. Yeah, baby, there you go. All right, so Rodrigo and I are going to tune out for just a few minutes, and we'll check back in with you guys before we get the session started. So guys, remember that coupon code's still there. I don't know if it's been used up yet, but it's the first 12 to use it are going to get $15 credit toward whatever they want at swag.benzinga.com. This coupon code GROWTH, all caps, swag@benzinga.com. That's your reward for participation. And the more that the group participates, the more rewards will come during this. And then other than that, sit back, relax, maybe mix up this is almond milk and instant coffee. What else did I put in here? That's it. This is almond milk and instant coffee. I'm getting caffeinated up because I want to be very alert for this session. Because like I said, I feel like I'm at about 20% proficiency with my options trading. And I really want to understand how to trade in neutral environments, how to do more theta gains, as in like setting up spreads where I'm just going to make money if sort of nothing happens. And that's sort of as far as I understand this sort of stuff. So I am here to be a sponge, like Rodrigo said. So guys, also Rodrigo had a piece of paper. Can you hold that up really quick? That rare anthropological finding that you have there that many of us might not have seen for a few while. You had a notepad, Rodrigo.
Oh, my notepad? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really a lot of papers that I've combined about options education on my journey as well. Like, so
guys, okay, be like Rodrigo. Be like Rodrigo. dude, we need to get you like a binder and get that laminated. Yeah, be like Rodrigo. Take notes. Don't put too much faith in your memory. All right, take down the tricks, the tactics, as much as you can about the way that Nick looks at stocks, so you can take this forward with you. Remember, this is about earning while you learn. That's all we'll say on the subject. We're going to zip out for about 5 minutes. You guys get your almond milk and caffeine and get all the loose leaf paper in your house together, receipts, whatever you can staple together to make a little options education notebook. All right, guys. See you soon. Tony from Atlanta, Georgia, I just want to congratulate you on getting the baby One Piece. Guys, if you need more stuff for babies, I don't think many of our subscribers are babies, so that's why we don't make a lot of stuff for babies. I think the preferred nomenclature for them is smaller traders. But if you want more baby merch, more baby swag on the website, let us know. We can make some more stuff for the kids, for the future generation of options traders. But big shout out to Tony for grabbing that baby One Piece. That's awesome. Very, very cute. What is up, guys? It's Neil from Benzinga once again. We are really close to getting started. So those of you that just popped in, we're getting a lot of folks. Usually right before these things start, we get like 25% of the attendance kind of trickles in. So we're going to give a few minutes past the exact hour to make sure that those folks are able to catch everything. And it's going by leaps and bounds. I see we're going up by like 10 viewers at a time, which is pretty good given that this is a very private viewing experience. We've got a couple of YouTube folks here that got a couple sneaky YouTube folks that are not subscribers that got in. I see you, Ramon. But this is an exclusive beyond just a couple of folks that have trickled in, exclusive interactive educational experience for Benzinga Option subscribers. And I was saying this earlier, many of you guys already give me a 1 in chat if you already heard my whole spiel about participation. All right, just type a 1 in chat if you already heard it. James, what's up? Didn't know this was streaming today. We sent an email. We sent emails. Is this open? Okay, so Krunal is asking the question. Everyone, again, give me a 1 in chat if you already know the spiel on participation. Aren 1, Double E's 1, Tanya 1, Trailer Marketing Inc. 1, Brock 1, Tony Whitney. Tony, shout out for getting the baby one piece from the Benzinga swag store. And finally, we got a 2. 0 doesn't count. Are you no manipulation in here? JLM 74224, if that's your real name. Fred Garzira with the 2. All right, so here is the scoop, guys. This is a fantastic opportunity for the community to come together. All right, it's not just a relationship between you and Nick Shaheen. It's us, all of us together, trading together so that we can learn and become self-sufficient traders and then ultimately turn this into a solid source of income. All right, so we're working together to learn so that we don't fall for traps, we don't make silly mistakes. And also, guys, falling for traps and silly mistakes, that happens at every level of sophistication. Through my time at Benzinga, I've seen every level of trader. All right, the best traders in the world we interact with, the worst traders in the world we interact with. In fact, I work with a couple of the worst traders in the world, Spencer Israel. So, guys, Any question is fair game. If you have a question about how to set a stop loss on your specific brokerage, that might seem silly to other people, or you might think that it does, but that's something you need to get right. That's very important. That could be the key to success. All right. Or if it's something more sophisticated, like why does a credit put spread need to be constructed all at once instead of in 2 days, or in separate parts? Your advanced questions, your intermediate questions, your basic questions, all fair game. And so what I want to let you know right now is participation is rewarded. So shake it out. All right. You're at the school dance. All right. The person that you want to dance with is right on the other side of the room. All right. So you can build up the courage. You drink your juice box, you got your High C orange, because you're not allowed to drink yet. So you just pound that High C orange, crush it, throw it out, lock eye contact with your financial future, and walk across that dance floor. And the form that I need you to do that in, guys, is let us know what you want to learn about in chat. Let us know what tickers you're interested in, what kind of things you want Nick to explain, so you can get the most out of it. And when you do that, when I see that we get to critical thresholds, I will unlock new credit coupon codes, or probably a better way to put that is codes that are gift cards. So gift card codes for the swag store at Benzinga, swag.benzinga.com. So you can get free stuff for your friends and family. Nothing makes a better gift for grandma around the holidays than a Benzinga Options t-shirt with a picture of an astronaut on it. Nothing's better for a friend's baby shower than a baby onesie that says buy the dip, sell the rip. People love it. So make sure that you guys are participating. We will reward you for it. All right, guys. So give me a 1 in chat if you're feeling good, and smash that like button. Get that like up if you're ready to get Nick Shaheen in here to start doing some education. Good. Fred's like, I got it, dude. Options entry lost in rules. Okay, we'll figure out what that means, Carrie, and take care of that. Carlin and Nitya are saying, Neil, get out of here. We want Nick. We're ready. Jay, good morning to you. Welcome to the party. Fred, good last name. Good, strong last name. Oren giving us the thumbs up. KC, we are ready. Nitya, this one has come up a few times, or Nitya, I would imagine, it has come up a few times. Setting stop losses for options. Not that obvious. Not as obvious as doing it with just plain common stock. We will cover that. I know Nick uses E-Trade for a lot of his execution, so he will certainly show you how to do it on E-Trade, but we can talk about other brokerages as well. Hey, happy Sunday. All right, guys. That is enough out of me. It is now time to bring on the man, Nick Shaheen. Nick? Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
All right, man. Well,
I'm having a blast just watching the show. Spencer, did I hear you throw Spencer?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. But by the way, if you guys have any problems, go to SpencerIsrael@benzinga.com.
And also, please, how about a warning for a Neil dancing segment? Okay, so you doing some moves out there? We need like a flashing warning, like warning, Neil to dance.
If we get up, I'll tell you what. If we get up to 100 likes on this video, I'll do some form of dance.
Oh my God! How about a tutu? You have a tutu? You want to put a tutu on?
Nick, don't push him. Come on, man.
Okay.
We've been working together for a long time. I can do a tutu.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the notion though. All right. So Nick, I want to let you take over. I want you to go ahead and take the liberty of sharing your screen.
I will do that.
And do what you do best. And you see the chat. You see that we've got like 500 tickers, and I think a lot of them are very optionable tickers. So we've got a really smart crowd. They know what they're doing. So I think a lot of good suggestions for you to go over. But I will now shut up and disappear.
I assume my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So I've been trying to keep up with the the comments are scrolling pretty fast. So I will address the big general questions that I thought I saw a few, kind of like what are the rules to enter a spread, credit spread or whatever. And I'll answer that first because this one in my opinion, applies to everything. Whether I'm trading equities, like buying shares, if I'm buying puts, calls, selling puts or calls, never sell calls ever, naked ever. Anything I'm doing needs to what? I use the acronym NTNT. If I don't have, so no trigger, no trade. So if I don't have a trigger to take my trade, and by the way, the T can be thesis as well. So if I have a thesis, a proper thesis, and I've said it before, I think the stock will go up is not a thesis. That's just a guess. I think the stock will go up because, and then I have a reason for it. That's a thesis. So if I don't have that or a trigger, like this stock, what is it? GE. If price goes above this level, some trader would want to chase it because that was a prior failure several times, and then they took it out. Then the bulls might have some steam in them and they could overshoot higher. That is a proper trigger from a trading perspective. That's chaseable. Then if somebody says, I'm in trouble, I bought some calls and they're down now, I would ask, okay, why did you take the calls? And they would say, it triggered. And then if it failed, then I say, then your trade failed and it's okay. There wouldn't be a reason to stay in it. So if I don't have a reason why I took the trade, then how do I know when to get out? So that's the first one. So NTNT, put a big sticky note. You don't need all these papers that Rodrigo held up earlier, if you saw that. You just need one big sticky notes of what not to do, and no trigger, no trade should be like right there. I always picture like if somebody I care about, like my mother, she's up in age, and if she says, here's money, I would like you to invest it in the stock market, it's a good time to do this trade. And I'll think, if I can't say yes to her, then it's probably not a good idea to do it for me either. So no trigger, no trade is an absolute rule. All right. So in this environment, the other rule, this is a special temporary rule, is conviction. Whatever conviction I usually have in my trades, I should take it and whack it, because I need to penalize myself because there's something we're missing. This is the whole market, and that is not a normal chart. So we are missing a whole bunch of pieces of the puzzle. This is a weekly chart, by the way. So people felt like the end of the world on Friday. Here we are.
So on the end of world note, I just want to jump in. We're getting a couple questions on the subscription. You guys, we will talk about the subscription at some point if we have time. And we're also getting questions about like education resources. I'll try to answer those in chat so Nick can do his thing. But in terms of talking about the broader subscription, we'll get to that if we have time. But for now, do or do not have your papers out like Rodrigo, but just try to absorb what Nick has given you. All right, so back to the end of the world. Thanks, Nick.
Sure, the end of the world. It's coming. No. September 12th, 1999. What was it? Whenever it was. So the one red tick in the stock market doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means one red tick. But it's important to know that there's so much new stuff going on with trillions of dollars into the environment, and this is broken and that is broken. The rates are doing this, and the Fed is ignoring its own rules. So a lot of things we don't know. For that reason, I knock down all of my conviction one notch. If I usually have strong conviction in buying the dip in something that is hitting support, I say, you know what? Just because the whole market is kind of weird, I should temper my enthusiasm. That's rule number 2. Okay, so that's 2 things I would put on that sticky note. 1, NTNT. 2, hey, we are missing one piece of the puzzle, so let's leave room to add on dips. Real dips. This is not a dip. So this is a 10% correction. What do you think? And this would be just reverting to the mean, red, blue. What do you think will happen to that stock you're trying to catch as a falling knife if this happens? I'm not calling for it. I'm just asking. That's the question mark that would tell me, hey, cool it. Yes, it's a good opportunity. Don't go all in. That would be me talking to myself. So I just had, I'll use a real life example. This is Benzinga Pro. By the way, fantastic platform. Love it, love it. I was on vacation. I only needed to pop in here, check out what's going on with the world. I would pop into my tabs, put the keywords in, see what's going on. And in the chat room this morning, I woke up to a question about the GDX. So I gave my opinion on the GDX, and I said, I had this picture as a trade guide. Remember, no trigger, no trade. Price was here, big drop, 3%. Okay, the reaction is to go in and catch a falling knife, correct? But if they lose the bottom end of this, they could overshoot lower. So I have to leave that room for error there. Conversely, I don't start chasing it unless they show me that they can beat the resistance out there. So the spirit of investing is always the same. The method changes. And I'm here today to share what I know about the credit spreads or options in general, and tell you why I prefer doing credit spreads. And I'll show you actual mathematical reasons for it. When we don't know what's going on, there is a range to trade. So this is where people sell credit spreads in order to win without anything needing to happen. I'll show the extreme speed of this, which would be doing iron condors for the short term, but it's actually to illustrate the spirit of an iron condor. So in the comment section, give me a 1 if you know nothing about options, just so I know how to word my comments here, so that it'll make sense for most of the viewers or listeners out there. So if you're quick enough, they can plop in a 1, and that'll give me an idea of the level of knowledge in options. While that happens, okay, 1. I have 1. Only 1 newbie. No, 2. All right, this is nothing about it. Okay, Vay. So the idea is, when somebody gets sophisticated with options, and they first start buying options. And what options are? They're basically, I'll show you. We'll pop into options. Quick rundown on options, and then I'll go into continue my spiel. So I'll go into Apple, which everybody knows, and I'll pick a month. I'll go to September. Okay, so this is an options chain. It shows a series of lines and numbers. Pretty confusing. The concept is very simple. This side, they're called put options. This side, they're called call options. So calls up here, word, puts. All right, so what is this showing? This is showing contracts, 1.5 contracts, and people can buy them and sell them for various reasons. Some people buy them and sell them for those various reasons, like buying protection. They can do that by buying one of these. Buying upside hope, they can do that by buying these. And some people don't want to buy the shares. They just want to trade the actual contracts. You see, they have value, right? And the value changes based on the price. So if I wanted to trade the Apple stock without touching the stock, I can buy and sell puts and calls in order to do that. So that's the big picture of it. So the simplest way of saying it, if somebody wants to buy protection, they'll buy one of these. If somebody wants to buy upside potential without spending a lot of money, they buy one of these. So they're contracts, they have value. So somebody that knows options can also sell them to bet that nothing will happen. And I'll give you the silliest one. So if I think that Apple is not going to fall to 120, I would sell this one. And if I'm right, then this one will die for 0. So when I sell it, I collect money. Whoever bought it will lose money. That's the kind of easy way to show how people trade options. Now, I don't sell puts naked unless I own shares. So that's a whole different lesson. So back to what I was going to show you. So this here is a table that I shared. I went on vacation last week. I shared this table 2 Fridays ago, and that played out this past week. And these concentrate on the top 2. So these are called iron condors. Not to get too wonky, but the SPX expired. They had an expiry on Wednesday, and the trade would have been to sell a bullish put spread and a bearish call spread and collect about $1 worth of premium. Maximum risk was $4. So this trade yielded 25% in 3 days with good odds from the get-go. This one yielded about the same in a whole week because this one expired on Friday. It too expired worthless. So let's look at the Friday one. I needed price to stay between 42.70 and 44.25 to win. I didn't need a rally. I didn't need a drop. I just needed for time to pass. And if my assumption that the support will hold and the resistance will hold, then I win. So that's the easy way of trading. Instead of finding out, okay, where's the SPX going? I can say, where is it not going? And sell risk there. So it's easier to find where it's not going. So the attractive part of options is to end up in this bucket of people that can do this. It's not easy. I don't know about you, but I haven't met a trade that yields 25% in 5 days by design, and it's easy. It's not, but it's doable and it's repeatable. All you need is a good thesis, good understanding of the charts, good discipline to do it on a consistent basis. Sometimes they lose, but not too often if you follow the rules. And the rules are different for people. My rules are very conservative from an incident basis. So, and this can work on any time frame. This is on crack because it's only 3 days or 5 days. Sometimes it's the same day trade. Sometimes there's nothing. Like skip. I was like, I saw nothing. I like.
And Nick, really. So two things. One is, guys, we're getting some direct messages and some stuff in chat. We'll talk about the chat room if we have time. But Nick, while you're in here, can you show some examples of where it has worked out?
Yeah.
And give us an idea of what that like the hard work that goes into a 25% in 5 days. What does that look like?
Okay. So this is an actual result, but these I share only in the chat room on Fridays. And because they require people to be involved, and people who are in the chat room tend to be more involved in trading, and I'm comfortable doing it. Now, on the other hand, you know what? I'm just going to bring my got nothing to hide here. So let's bring in my whole spreadsheet. There.
Ooh, the mystical spreadsheet.
The mystical spreadsheet. Look, I have tabs. So this is for the ultimate team, and they get to see many trades a week. And I'm just going to go back to look at, for example, 617. So we're looking back in time. And these are all the trades. I haven't filtered them, or the winning or losing. These are in sequence. You can see 617, XRT, I was bearish. I sold the call spread, and it's playing out. So it may have come under fire. Or I shared it in two different ways you can do it. I could do this to be bearish, or I can do these two things, a buy a put or buy a put spread. So the whole trade is still working. See? So that was the cost at the time, and now it's greenish. This one is a little bit reddish. This one is green. So, but as soon as I took the trade, I know these dropped. So this was 617. On 618, these were all very green. So if somebody booked them, they had immediate profits. I book fast. I don't care about missing out on winnings. So me would have been gotten out the next day, because a quick buck overnight, thank you, I'm out. I'll reset the trade some other time. I don't try to milk every penny out of it. But if I'm short, I would probably stay short. I don't have a reason to get out. Markets are toppy. I stay in. So that's one trade, okay? Roblox. Many ways of trading it. Many times have traded it. This was a bullish attempt at the stock, and I'll share the three way. Usually when I share a trade with the members, it goes along with like a 15-minute video. The video itself is a whole class on how to look at investing into something, and those come with every trade. So if you're a subscriber that see 3 trades a week, you're seeing 3 huge lessons a week, like from A to Z. I'm talking macro, what's going on with the S&P, what's going on with this company, why am I doing the trade, and how am I trading it? And usually it's 4 different ways. Buy a call, most aggressive, wins fastest, lose fastest. Buy a call spread, somewhat spread. Sell a put if I wanted to own shares, only if I wanted to own shares. Sell a put spread. So let's look at why options are exciting. So somebody that bought a call is now down, but they had immediate profit. So this trade was 616. On 629, this was $10. So they made money. If they stayed in it, they didn't book their profits, they're now in the red. They're less red if they did it via put spread, but that call spread instead of a naked call, but that also was $4 a few days after that. This one is winning because I sold a put, collected $2.24, now it's $1.29. So I made $1. out of thin air. I didn't spend anything. Money came into my account to open the trade. Same with here. Collected 86 cents per contract, and now it's 59 cents, so I'm winning there. So 4 ways of trading something. If I took the trades at the time and it did nothing, the 2 that I bought stuff, they're red now, but I always like these things because I don't need anything to happen. All I need is for the stock to stay above 55. It's 77. So boring trades that yield rewards without much trouble short term. That's just another example. Mara is one, timed it really well. I believe that was a Bitcoin play on a Bitcoin dip, yielded easy wins on all fronts. But again, if you didn't book your winnings in the call spreads in buying calls, then you're now red, but you had a double. This was $8 almost, just days later. Okay, so this was 622 to trade. On 629, this was 7.8. So they almost doubled their money. This was 455. So it was a big win anyway. But if they didn't book it, now they're down on their luck. These, if they didn't book it, they're still winning. In fact, this one expired. So for maximum gains. So that's the beauty of selling something. So you see everything that says a C in front of it, credit, credit, credit. Those are the selling. That's my favorite way of trading. So as far as being successful with a high percentage rate of winnings, I believe it's over 90%, is by setting up the trade to be that from the get-go. 85 to 92% chance of success theoretically. Nothing is bulletproof, but usually it happens the way it's designed to work out. People who are fast can buy calls and call spreads to book fast. People who prefer, like me, to collect money and make sure that nothing outstanding happens and then just let time do the work for me, that's what I would do. So speaking of time, that's where everybody makes a mistake. So if you think about all of your trades, you're almost never wrong with what you choose to trade. You choose a stock, you do your homework, and you buy it. And then it falls. It's usually in the timing. This is where trading with people in a chat room or in a group, or having somebody to ask a question that knows their stuff, it makes for fewer mistakes. Apple, classic example. Last week, I was on vacation and I was watching the price action. By the way, I was in the chat room more than I should have. Wife is upset, but hey, going into 150, I was like, what is happening here? So I bought a put. I shared it in the, that was bearish. I shared it in the chat room. I said, I am buying a lottery ticket. I don't have a trigger for it. I broke my own rule, but I said, this is a lottery ticket. So small money to pick a fight with Apple at all-time highs. That trade is 30% positive now, but it was just a lottery ticket. So I'm leaving it into the earnings because I knew it was a lottery ticket. So if I risked $200, whatever that number is, I accepted it to be a lottery ticket. I don't go back and say, give me my dollar back. I changed my mind. I'm in it to see what comes out of it. We'll see. I'm not bearish the company. I'm just bearish the price action. So the method is great when I buy something, but now I need a move to win. So I mentioned this because I prefer to do the opposite. When people freak out and Apple's falling here, I prefer to come out and say, on a bad day, I'll take that company, I'll sell a put into this fear. And then all I need is for the fear to calm, and then I make money because I was willing to step up to the plate with knowledge, A, of the company fundamentals, B, of the levels. Like I know that they will defend this level with ferocity. If it falls, it's going to feel like the end of the world. When there's FOMO out there, I'm out there, hey, here's your protection. There you go, take your protection. That's when I get myself into a good starting position. VIX is exploding higher. All options are expensive. Fear in Apple is expensive. When that happens, if that happens, then I'm willing to do that. I've done that many times over and over. So time, I want to put it on my side. How do I put time on my side with options? Is I sell them. And I'm not here to say sell naked puts all over the place. I shouldn't do that when markets are at all-time highs. But in specific cases, when I know there's a good level, like this candle right there, it gives me great confidence that 116 is a good viable dip for Apple. And if it fails, okay, it can go lower, but at least I know where the bottom lies thereafter. It's a calculated guess, calculated risk, and I don't go all in either, because there's always a situation that, hey, I don't know what's coming around the corner. But the rules are the same, always. I need a good thesis. I need a good reason, trigger. I should stop out based on my own pain. Like if I can't see more than 20% pain, I should just set 20% level and say, if I'm down 20%, I should get out. This way I make small mistakes. I can recover from them. With options, the biggest mistake is people jumping in at the wrong time. And if you do it by buying stuff, it's a killer. I'll give you an example. So somebody who bought the shares at 150, and if they're down to here, they can wait it out. They could recover. If somebody bought calls and then this happens, you can't recover from that, because calls have a time element. And that's why buying calls naked, in my opinion, is more dangerous than selling a put naked because of that fact. I'd rather own shares when the sold put fails versus if the bought call fails, it's gone. There's no recovering from that. So my preference is to sell risk when I have visibility and a good thesis versus buying. So the secret to success with options, in my opinion, is to start looking and thinking from a market maker perspective. What does that mean? Every class you take on options starts with a statement. Most options expire worthless. Okay, so therefore, I should be selling them, not buying them. Then the odds are in my favor just from that one statement. I don't sell them willy-nilly. I have to be good at selling them. How do I do that? Is by being very diligent and choosing the right time frames to sell. I want to avoid events. I don't want to sell into the earnings. Everybody's attracted to that event, and I'll tell you why this is silly. But I avoid events, and I don't sell into levels where I don't have edge. What does that mean? So 145 is current price for Apple. And if I sell this put here, what kind of an edge do I have? Not much. Price is right there. So by going down to here, I give myself edge. The odds are in my favor that I'm going to win if I sell this one. The odds are not in my favor. The odds are like a coin flip. Price is right there. One hiccup and I'm in trouble already. So it's like buying shares. So why not buy shares? The advantage of using options is that I give myself an edge. The lower I go by selling, the higher my edge is. So based on this, you've heard of delta. I promise you we're not going to speak Greek. You've heard of theta. We already talked about it. Time, theta, time element. When I do a trade in options, when I sell a trade, for me, I want time. As time is on my side, I want nothing to happen. The delta tells me, I use it. The definition is wonky. You can go read it. Something about how much does the option price of that option change by the change of $1 in the underlying. I know what it means from that definition. It's not clear though, but let me tell you how I use it in practical real life option trading. This is my odds maker. The higher that number is, if it's 50.5, I'm doing a coin flip, buying or selling. It's like a coin flip. That's my odd maker. So I want to start here or here. This has a 7% chance of coming to fruition. Somebody buying a 125 put has a very tiny window of profitability. Therefore, if I sell it to them, I have edge over them. How does that work? So this is not a trade recommendation. This is an illustration of the concept of selling a put and buying a put. If somebody wants to bet that Apple is going to collapse to 125 in the next 33 days, they can pay 50 cents to make that bet. If I disagree with them, I can sell it. So if I sell it, I need nothing to happen. I just need time to tick. If they buy it, they need a drop to happen within the next 33 days, or they lose. So I prefer doing this than this. Now, selling a put naked means that I'm willing to buy the shares. And if I'm not, then I would do a put spread, but that's a whole new lesson all by itself. So this would be selling a put spread to limit my risk. But this, again, is not a proper put spread for me, given the time and the earnings and all of that. This is just the illustration on the concept, okay? And I can move these wherever I want to change the risk level. Okay, so selling a put naked is a viable trading strategy for somebody that doesn't mind owning shares. If I do, or I want to limit my risk at all-time high levels of indices, that's a very good idea. Then I would sell a put spread instead. It's also called a bull put spread. You've heard it called that. So options are an easy way to make money out of thin air, because nothing goes out of my pocket. When I sell something, money goes into my account. And if I use proper levels, then onus is on the buyers to make price move in order to make me wrong. Otherwise, I'm right. So I start the trade with 85% odds in my favor, and then I manage it. All right, so let me stop here and give you the lesson of now the third bullet point, which I should have probably started with. Remember the first bullet point, NTNT, put it on a sticky note, put it next to your screen. No trigger, no trade, or no thesis, no trade. Okay. Now we're going to come to a probably I should have started with that, which is risk. So I'm going to use this as a scratch pad. Forget the chart. Definition of risk. If I ask you now, give me the definition of risk, you're going to answer. Almost everybody's going to say how much money I can lose in many which way of saying it. That's correct. First element of risk, it's two pieces, is money. How much money can I lose? What's at stake? What's the consequence if I lose? The carrot of winning is out there. It's just the same. But that's number one. And let's say I decide I want to risk $1,000 or $500 or 10,000 or 100,000, whatever that number is. I say, okay, that's my risk. If I fail, I take this and I put it away. That's not the part I manage. Okay. The second part is the part I manage, which is at the same time, at the beginning, I say, okay, what are my odds of winning? Remember that edge part? That's where I want 90 if I can. That's my starting point. That's the part I manage. Let's say price goes up, price goes down, that 90 changes. If it turns into 70, that's not what I started with. So is it time to move it, change it, close it? But you're saying, Nick, 70%, that's super high. And I was like, no, it's not. Keep in mind, 50 is a coin flip. 50% is Vegas. So that's the no-no part for me. Now I don't have edge. I have slight edge. I have a lot of edge. You see that point? Okay, so that's sticky note point number 2. I guess I put it right under NTNT. So these are the must obey rules at all times. Risk. How much money? I don't change it. I don't add to it, especially when it's under pressure. 2, I'm honest about my odds. Luckily, with options, my odds live right here. Look at the delta. So if I sold this one, and then price fell, this number is going to increase. And if this number turns into 30, that means now I'm losing my edge. And it's like, oh, shoot, now things have changed completely. I may want to revisit that trade. So there are things I can do to change the risk profile, but that's part of managing it. Okay, so somebody is asking in there, what is my basis for my odds? My personal choice, Jean-Claude, is that I want to start out with odds that are comfortable for me. I want to go as high as possible and still make sense of it. So collecting 50 cents, it seems low, so maybe 80 cents is better, but it's a matter of preference. If I don't mind buying shares here and I want to make money out of thin air, maybe that's good. But it's not an enticing trade for me, especially when Apple looks like this, right? So that can come pretty quickly. But if you look at it, it's right down here. So there's a reason why it's only 50 cents. That means if I sell that put, okay, let's walk through what happens. Okay, so selling a put, options are so dangerous. Okay, so let's walk through how dangerous options are. I'm going to walk you through this disaster scenario of selling that put. What was the put number? Now I'm forgotten. 125. Okay, back to the chart. 125 here. Perfect. It's right on the line. So Apple's right here, and I sell a put and I collect 50 cents. By the way, this wouldn't be a trade I do it. that I do because of the altitude of Apple. I expect to drop. In fact, I did the opposite. I bought a 145 put. So I'm short Apple up here. But anyway, assume somebody sold that put. What's going to happen in the future? Let's say Apple collapses and Apple falls from here to here. Okay. So now that put
really quick, for those of you guys that are asking about the chat room, we'll try to get to that. I think we'll try to get to that toward the end. So stay tuned. Thank you. No problem.
So if that price falls, like I just showed on the picture, that 50 cents will turn into like $1.40, $2.5, whatever it is. So in my portfolio, it will show 200% red. What? You just lost 200% of your money. I didn't, though. That's paper losses. The only way I realize those losses, I actually book the losses, if I buy it back. But if my intention was to actually owning shares, who cares? It could show 1,000%. I don't care, because let me walk you through what happens. This drop happens. Suddenly my P&L is showing minus 400 and minus 500% on that one put I sold at 125 down here. So let's say Apple keeps falling, and that minus 500% will be minus 1,000. It'll be scary numbers. However, at one day, either time will expire and it will die for zero if they don't give me shares. If they don't assign me shares, that position just disappears. Poof, gone. If they give me shares, I wake up one day owning 100 shares of Apple at 125. My break even is 124.50. I don't actually start losing money unless I hang on to the shares and then it continues to fall. Then it'll be like I bought it at 124.50 and I manage the shares like I would manage any other position. But you're saying, Nick, what about the minus 1,000% you endured all the way down to when you were assigned? When they assign me shares, all the redness with that put position disappears. The cash that I collected to open the trade stays in my account. The put position that I sold and it shows minus red, poof, disappears. In its place are 100 shares of Apple per contract. So then I manage my risk from there. I can turn around and sell them immediately, break even, make money. In one instance, somebody in the chat room had that situation happen to them in Boeing. And then they were assigned shares over the weekend of Boeing. And Monday, Boeing had a headline last year and it popped 11%. So that was an ideal situation because now they own the shares, they're up 11%, they kept the money. So it was a great situation. I'm not saying that's what will happen all the time, but it's happened to me a few times where I get assigned shares and then on Monday I get to sell them for profits. So selling a put works. It will take heat, it will be red. But if my intention was to own shares, the worst thing I can do is panic and buy that put back. Oh my God, it's down 600%. I should buy it back. That is when you get hurt. So having the discipline and the fortitude to look into the bear and not do anything. So this brings me to a point where going back to step one, do homework, make sure I want to sell puts in stocks I want to own. I would never do that in AMC, for example. Not to poop on the company, but it has no fundamentals. I don't think it can stop at 32. I don't think it deserves to be at 20, personal opinion. So I personally would not sell that put for me. Okay, so this is not a trade recommendation either. So what looks like, oh yeah, I have plenty of room. If it's not an Apple-like company, I wouldn't want to own it. I wouldn't sell the put for a trade. So put spreads would work better if I sold them. This way I know my risk. So diligent with the homework, diligent with the stop level. Like if somebody went long AMC, they better put a stop below here. Because if it loses that, 20 is fair game. Okay. Because that was a big pivot point if you look left right here. Okay. So now we're speaking general options terms. The whole message of this whole blah, blah, blah I've been spurting here is have a system. I shared mine. I like to sell risk. Credit put spreads is my favorite. Selling puts on bad days is my favorite. Selling call spreads for balance, maybe, but I like to look up in stocks. But it's so hard to do this when the stocks can't stop running. So finding good deals is getting harder and harder, like Snap. Under normal circumstances, I would try to catch this knife, but I'm afraid of this being, they're drawing the right-hand shoulder and it coming down to here. So I shared this in my chat room on my vacation. I was like, I got an alert on Snap. It lost the bounce level. It could be headed lower. So watch for the bounce to fail into 62, 63. There's going to be sellers. And if so, is it doing this? So if you want to catch the falling knife, okay, but know when to book, because there might be a fade and it might be falling harder. So I want to catch the falling knife, but the markets are all-time high and I want to leave room for error. So credit put spreads will be down here for me, where I see defense. It's getting harder to find these positions because everything is up, up, and away. I mean, if you look at the Qs, let me take these all drawings out. I mean, we're in stratosphere. Small caps is where the opportunities are. This is months and months of consolidation, but it too did something strange this week. So we want to keep an eye on it. Chasing tails is what I called it in my video. What's my strategy in the bear market? Richard, I like your question. Okay. So, wow, this is perfect. All right. So this is like the nuance right here. Okay. Take your notepad out or sticky note. Okay. So you have to know who is controlling the price action. And that question is different time frame to time frame to time frame. All right, so this is the difference between retail investors out there and traders. And I'm not going to say pros. Most of the pros, a lot of the pros don't even do this because a lot of the pros focus solely on fundamentals and PEs and price to sales and profitability levels and margins. They're missing the big, big change. They say, the same experts tell us in one breath, machines are controlling the actions. So why the hell are they not thinking like the machines? Okay, the machines look at price patterns and they deploy code to act based on the price patterns, right? So when they see patterns repeating in one way, they continue doing it until there's a change. So what Richard is asking, what do I do in the bear market? First of all, we haven't had a bear market in eons. So that would be an interesting question for ARK, because I would, that's going to be a pretty ugly thing to do, to look at in a true bear market. So, okay, here is the SPY. Look, buying the dip works. I repeat, buying the dip until it fails. So any dips into prior pivots, into 425-ish, plus or minus, there are nuances there, are going to be attempted to be bought. 424. We do have more solid levels at 416, 415, and even better ones if they fill the gap down to 402. Please fill the gap already so we can move on. However, the change would be what happens on the bounces. So here's how a bear market, in my opinion, happens. First, you stop making new highs, which has never happened. It hasn't happened yet. The bears had stints of controlling the action, lower highs. But then the bulls took them out. Lower highs. The bulls took them out. Lower highs. The bulls took them out. So this is repeating. You see that? Machines see that. So what do? They buy the dip. They buy the dip. And they want to continue the channel. Now, this is not where I start shorting. Okay, losing the channel is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a sustained failed bounce. So if they bounce, what's going to happen here? And what's going to happen here? And what's going to happen here? So, Richard, I start looking for the machines selling the rips versus buying the dips. So buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Are they going to sell the rip, sell the rip, sell the rip, sell the rip? And if that's the case, then on pops, I sell call spreads. On dips, I sell put spreads to try to trade the channel down. That's what I would do. All right, so selling options, SPE last week, very good money. The options were around 2,000. Okay, so SPCE is a stock on crack. Definitely for experienced hands only when it comes to selling options. Yes, there's a ton of money to be made. Somebody asked me last week, what would you do? I say, I would repeat what I did before. I sold puts at $10. So we're far away from $10. In my opinion, this company's entire stock price is based on future successes. Therefore, I would not sell puts in it unless I want to own shares. And what level would I do it? I mean, what is this down here? I don't like that. But now I'm more comfortable in this zone being support than up here. So yes, there's a lot of money to be made in SPCE, but only strong hands. Okay, so this is the extreme, right? We're talking tickers on crack. So if I wanted to own it at 25, let's see a visual of 25, not that much, a couple more days like last week. Man, this thing got hammered. Then it would be, so see, chasing, not a good thing. If I wanted to own it at 25, what can I do? I can sell the August put and collect almost $2 for it. And then all I need is for price to be above 25 through August, and then I'm golden. Or I'm golden for me to get assigned at 25, and I own shares from 25 with a break-even point at 23. So that's not a bad strategy for somebody that wants to buy shares. So if my brother says, hey, I'm looking to buy space, Virgin Galactic, and I would say, okay, so why not sell a put? He goes, why would I want to do that? Because then you would have buffer. Why own it here when you can own it at 25 and get paid for it? What? Yep. If I sell this put right here, I get paid $2 for it, and I'm rounding. And I built myself a buffer so the stock can fall another 18%, 25%, and I break even. So that's a strategy. It's not a trade I'm recommending here. Okay, I don't like the stock. I started that by saying it. It's a tradable stock. If somebody wants to invest in it for the super long term, I would sell puts in it. In fact, if I want to invest in it for the super long term, this is the easy peasy way of doing it. Going out to January and selling the $20 put and collect $2 for it and make it even lower. Okay, so my break-even point would be the base of the whole rally. That would be the I'm going on vacation for 3 or 4 months. I want to be long SPCE. I don't want to track the short-term action. Okay, so Jason is asking, what about buying puts when you don't want to own it? I don't know what you mean by that. When I selling a put spread would be the way to, if I don't want to own it, instead of selling a naked put, selling a put spread.
Yep. So good question. We're still getting some about the chat room. We'll try to get to that. And guys, just remember, participation is rewarded. I've noticed that we've gotten concentrated to just a few really active people, and they've got great questions. That's Nicole, Ramon. You guys know who you are. Keep them coming. But guys, if you're watching and there's something that, even if it feels like a silly question, go ahead and ask it. What I can say is that the basics are. I think, Nick, tell me if you agree with this.
Yeah.
Knowing the basics is more than half of the battle.
Absolutely, because it is all basic. The concept is so simple, Neil, and it's repeating the same thing over and over again. And the concept is so simple, but it's a small system, and it's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. And folks, narrow down your watch list. Mm-hmm. Why on earth do you want to mess around with tickers that are not liquid? For me, with options, if I didn't help people in the chat room, my watch list would be like 20 tickers, maybe 25. And I'll specialize in them and just trade the heck out of them and be a specialist. By the way, to answer Nydia's question, so it is a viable, so they're asking is, if I sold the $25 put and the break even is at 23, when I get assigned, at what price do I get assigned? I get assigned at the put that I sold, so 25. But I keep the money I collected. That's why my break even is 23. So if I get assigned, it's at 25, and on Monday the stock is at 24, I'm still up $1 because I collected 2 to open. So I can liquidate the stock, and I made $1. Meanwhile, I lost a lot on paper, riding it all the way down. I faced the beast, and I woke up owning the shares like I said I would, and I still had $1 to spare if it's at 24. So Neil, yeah, it's all basic, rinse and repeat, but the most important part is not to improvise on the fly. And if you don't put it in writing, then you end up making mistakes. So FOMO, everybody's heard of it. Everybody knows this is FOMO up here, okay? Apple, FOMO. But FOMO keeps us, it's a human nature. I feel it. You have to put alerts. I usually have 1,000 different alert lines here, but TradingView blew out all my alerts last week. So there's nothing here, but you'd have seen them. Let me see. Maybe Apple still has some alerts. Nope. Jesus. SPY.
We're calling Pierce. We're calling them.
So I already sent them a message. They're a great company. I've been using them for years, but I said, my status changed with them, and it happens once a year. But what I didn't realize is that it also blows out all my privileges, which are multiple alerts, and it took me down to basic. So this is an alert. So set an alert to stop the FOMO. In other words, when it's running, I want to know, hey, don't buy calls now. You wait for the breakout. And when it's falling, it's telling me step out, SPY long. Because if it's falling and I'm scared and the FOMO is kicking in on negative FOMO, I call it, chances are I'm not going to have the courage to step up to the plate. This alert comes into my email saying, long, Nick, long. Kind of like overcome the FOMO. There should be buyers based on technical reasons. Even more here. Look, May, double down, bounce. That's a message to myself. So because it's telling me in May we had a double bounce here, so they're going to defend it hard if prices fall into here. So whatever the method is that you like trading with, I prefer selling puts into freak out moments. Those are the easy wins, or selling puts or put spreads below support and selling calls and call spreads above resistance. Okay, so I shorted the banks by selling call spreads. I disagreed with their premise when everybody was chasing them. I had a thesis. Okay, so I said NTNT, no trigger, no thesis. I'm going to use Goldman Sachs. I picked a fight with it, and I won several times. I did videos on it, and people hated it. They didn't like it. I tweeted some about it, and I got shellacked on it. And I laughed because I won on all counts. And I had a thesis that the banks are rallying for wrong reasons. They're chasing the TNX yields. I said there's going to be a rally in the TLT. So I was long the TLT, and I shared that with the group. And I said, if I'm short banks, I shouldn't do long TLT because they're kind of the same trade right now, and they all worked out. So I had a call spread sold in Goldman Sachs at 390, and I stood my ground. It was under fire, and I faced the earnings, and I said, if it pops into the earnings into my level, I would short it again. And guess what? It did pop and failed. So I won. I closed the bid on it. And now I don't want to pick a fight with it. I like the company. I just didn't like what people were doing with the stock. So I had a thesis. I placed a trade. I opened risk. I faced the beast, and I closed it for partial win. I mean, I didn't wait for it to expire. It expires in a few weeks. And I was like, nope, I won. I made my point. So thesis, manage my risk, the percentage part, remember? So now let's recap. Lesson NTNT, number 1, right? And I manage the percentage part, the percentage of success part. This, I managed it. It fell into a coin flip. And I was like, nope, my thesis still lives. Okay, so the no thesis, no trade part, it's still alive. I stayed in the trade, right? So those two are important things. So method, repeat. If you lose, you see if there's a lesson to learn from it, then you add it to your list of things to look for. If not, you say, okay, we lost on this one, we'll move on. I'm okay booking a loss in a trade. Some people have a problem with that. So the FOMO part isn't real. I feel it. Everybody feels it. What you do with it is the difference. So I can see Apple running to 150 and say, I'm okay. Let it go without me. I missed it. If I'm who was buying it up here? I'm sure nobody in this group, right? Nobody would fess up now. But it's just, here's how to say it. It is not an obvious point of entry. If my mom was saying, here's my money, I would say, Mom, keep it. You're going to have cheaper entry points in Apple this year. Okay, how big a win was my target of Goldman Sachs? I'm not sure how big a win. I sold a call spread, and I collected over $1 for it. I want to say $1.50. So it was an aggressive short, saying it won't have much room to go. So I collected I'm going to say $1.50, maybe more. But it's $1.50 on a risk of 5. So I risked the balance of 5 minus $1.50. So the yield percentage was huge. My odds of success were lower than my normal settings, but it was I'm shorting it now with a little bit of room. as opposed to I'm shorting now with a lot of bit of room where I collect less. This was I'm going into earnings short as a trade, and I was okay losing the difference between 5 and 1.5. Well, is there an explanation of the terminology? So I do have resource videos on the Benzinga platform. So they're there. I usually make a modular, like if somebody wants to see, okay, what's an option? I have a video for that. What's a spread? I have a video for that. What's a credit spread? And calendars and other ones. I keep adding to it. So how to create balance. So the terminology is repetitive, luckily. So somebody's asking about terminology. It's the same stuff. And if you watch one of my videos, if you get 3 trades a week, if you're a member that sees 3 trades a week, you're going to see 3 15-minute lessons just from that. So forget taking trades. It's a freaking school, open all week, all year. You won't find a better classroom setting than this, in my opinion. I wish this was available for me when I was coming up the ranks. But when I was coming up the ranks, there was like 3 tickers that I could trade with options, and then they started coming in.
So Nick, on that note, I'm gonna jump in and just answer some questions about the chat room.
All right.
So just sit tight for a second. And guys, we'll make this quick. We want to make this about education, but I just want to make sure you guys understand the chat room. So first and foremost, I'm just gonna share my screen really quick. Let me let's do this. Let's do it like that. There we go. Okay, so we have just launched an interactive chat room with Nick so that you guys can get together. You can talk about your trades. It's just like one of these sessions, but we're stringing it together all through the week. Live trading, any stock you want to talk about covered in the Inner Circle chat room. And during this session, because you're attending this, you're investing in your education, we want to make sure that you get a special discount on it. So we're giving a full 70% off discount, which brings you down from about 6.1K for the year, which, trust me, is worth it. We're giving you the lowest priced active chat room period for options with the win rate that we have. So that's going to get you all the way down from about 6K down to 1.7. Absolutely worth it. It's an annual subscription. And we want to set you up right. So I know that earlier we got a lot of ones in chats because we asked how many of you are new to options trading, and we got a bunch of ones, and that's crazy because a lot of you are subscribers. So many of you are still on the first steps of your trading journey, that you're still touching those first milestones. So we want to make sure you start off right. So as part of signing up for this right now, which some of you are already doing, so thank you for doing that. As part of this, the first 30 people that are viewing right now that register and commit to the chat room and a more active options trading strategy, we're going to give you a free laptop. That's going to be a free name brand laptop with at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, meaning you can run all of the trading applications you need, all the web-based stuff, your brokerage charting tool, your whatever charting tool. If you use TradingView, you can run that. You can use Benzinga Pro. If you use that, that will all run very smoothly. This is a quality laptop for trading on the go at home. You can plug it into a monitor. So the first 30 are going to get that. So what I'm going to do is drop this link in chat. There you go. It's also in the description for the video if you want to get that. So, when you get in here, Nick is in the chat room every single day. Nick, how many hours per day would you say that you're checking the chat room?
I'm checking it all day, every day. I'm in the chat room at least during market open, plus or minus 2 hours before and after. So much so that I just bought myself a gamer's chair. Regular executive style chairs are not doing the trick, so I need a gamer's chair. So I'm in there. I answer questions all day. I don't have okay, I'm closed, I can't answer this question. So today I popped in and somebody asked about the GDX. Clearly it's not an open market day, and I shared the answer with charts, and then they're not logged in now, but I'm sure when they log back in, they'll see it. So I'm active all the time.
Yep. So Nick is doing a lot of sitting these days. So yeah, the idea of this is that you're going into the markets with mentorship. You're going to learn to trade much more quickly this way, along with Nick. And then all of these stickers that you're seeing through the week, you can throw them his way. But he's dropping picks in there constantly. So Nick, I think you shared a spreadsheet of the picks and the win rate and the win magnitude previously.
So I can come back to it and share more as to why I prefer why I prefer selling spreads, of how much how easier it is to win with that, with less critical price action. But when you're done.
Yeah, and that's the thing is some of the spreads and some of the trades, if you're going to be an active trader, you need to it does the format of just sort of getting it sent to you and then you acting on it is only ideal for a certain type of trade. So getting into the chat room is the ideal way. And just a big shout out to Creddy right now. So welcome to the family, Creddy. You get a laptop. Also another one to William, DK William. Congratulations, man. Welcome to the family. So guys, as you come in, we'll do a countdown here. We've only got 30 of these laptops available. So we'll get back to the education, but as we go, I'll let you know how many are left. And then once we're out, we're just done. But Anthony Davin, welcome to the family. Congratulations. We'll get your shipping information. We believe in this so much. It's been so successful so far that if you get in now, we're giving a 14-day money-back guarantee. You guys already know that we stand by our trades. We stand by Nick, and we believe in the success of it so much that if it's not working for you or you're too busy for it, 100% get your money back, no problem. 2 weeks to try it out.
So we have a few questions in the comment section that I'm reading, trying to take notes to see if I can answer them. I think April earlier had a question. So if you're done with that, I can pop in and answer her question.
Absolutely. So we are now down to 26 laptops. We have four people have made the commitment. So welcome to the family so far. Congratulations. And I'll keep you guys updated. Thanks, guys.
Okay. So April had a fundamental question on the options. So April asked if, do I have to own shares to sell a put? No, that's the opposite. So selling a put, so buying a put is somebody asking to protect their stock. So if I buy a put and I own shares, I guarantee myself the ability to sell to sell the shares at that level. So for example, if somebody owns Apple and they bought a $140 put right here, say for August or September, they pay money, and the seller of the put promises them that they will buy their shares. So me, the put seller, if I'm the one selling that, I'm saying, hey, you know what? Don't worry, April. You have shares of Apple. I got you. Between now and September, if they fall or whenever you want, you say, hey, take my shares at 140. I'm your guy. So I sold the put. I collected money from April. She bought the put. She paid the money. But me selling the put, I promise. So I'm not in control. I'm like an insurance company. She has the car. She insured her car. If she crashes her car and say, here you go, pay me 140 price for that stock, then I have to do it. It's not the option to get out of it. So when I sell a put, I don't have to own shares. In fact, the goal is to own shares. If I buy a put, it means I either am shorting the stock or I want to protect my shares I already own. So that's the nuance there. Also, somebody else had the question on off-hours trading. I think it was DS. So DS is asking, they have limited access during the day. Can they put the options trade off hours? You can't trade off hours. There are some limited off hours things, but I don't do that because they're not liquid. So I have to be able to access the open market and set my options trades. However, DS, if you're like me, you don't. If I had the choice, I would trade like once or twice a year. I would take a few positions that are like for a whole year or for 6 months at a time, for 3 months at a time. I do that, and it is doable. So the concept is the same. DS is just you deploying the risk that fits your time frame, but the concept is the same. Luckily, they have multiple time frames. So if you want to set a bullish trade on Apple, and you say, you know what, I wish I had bought Apple at 100, then guess what? You could get close to that. and sell the put at 110 and collect $200 for it and wait. So that's the kind of thing I can do if I don't have time to trade. So I can choose trades that fit my time frame. Also, there was a question about some trailer sign up. The guy, I forgot what, trailer marketing company. So they said, is it realistic? What is the realistic average monthly P&L on all trades? So this is where it gets tricky. The answer, there's no one right answer. I can show which trade worked out and which trades did not. And I can assure you that most of the credit put spreads worked out. In other words, they weren't breached. The levels I sold held. And if that's the case, most of these premiums that are that have a C next to them were income. So the yield is high. Like this one yielded 20% on the risk, for example. And you just go down the list, and if you go back up the list, and you can see credit put spread. This was an Iron Condor, not a good example. So any credit put spread or sold put, it paid $1.47 out of thin air per contract. So this one paid 40 cents out of thin air. That's about 19% on money at risk. So I can tell you that this rate of success by selling puts and put spread is extremely high. I design it to be, by design, 88 to 92% whenever I can get away with it, in favor, odds in my favor when I sell puts or put spreads. And I always say which one I like best in the video. Like if I'm sharing the Disney trade back in middle of May, by the way, so that was a double when I did that. It's still active and it's still even-ish and the debit call spread is big. So it's a win any which way you slice it, but that was the trade in 519. And the yield is attractive, and the success ratio came as designed. So I designed it back then to have odds this way or that way. I would have said in the video, I like selling the puts and the put spreads. I like less buying calls. If I want to buy calls, I will probably buy a call spread. And I would say notes like faster trade, not for me. Slower trade, okay. If you force me to buy something, I would do this one, not that one. But I prefer selling naked puts to own the shares, or my choice that day, 519, was to sell a put spread. This was not the biggest win. Money out of pocket was nothing. I collected. If I did it 10 times, I collected $400 and I needed nothing to win, and I won. And that's 20%, 19% yield on money at risk. So that's the kind of risk I like. So I risked $2. I made 40 cents out of it. So this is wonky answer to your question, trailer marketing, do or do that. But there's not one answer. It's how you manage. I share the opportunity. How one manages their entry and their exit points is up to them, because there's no way for me to say it's time to book it. So clear example, if I'm long the TLT and I'm short banks, if I get profits on either of those two, I should book it right away because they are the same trade. Somebody that's not long the TLT and they're short banks, they're not in a hurry to book the profit on the short banks because they're still in balance somewhat. They're not overly in the same trade. So let's see here. What was the question for if you get assigned? If you never get assigned, okay. So if I collect shares, I collect money from selling a put and price. I never get assigned. Both that money's mine. Ramon or Raymond, whichever. Thanks for pitching in. I see people answering questions in here, so we may have a few number fours as far as knowledge on the option scale, and they were lurking. So I saw answers earlier from somebody else. Does the premium have plays for 7 days or less? Yeah, you can have a 1 day. I do trades for a day, but that's for active people. What typical time frame for a put spread? Okay, so the question is, what is the typical time? Like the other day, I suggested a few trades that were long, like for example, Love, LEV. I like the company, and I sold it way out in time into, let's see, 21/12, December and September. But December, and this was November. And they said, why did you choose November and December? It's like, because I can't make all my trades expire at the same time. You have one bad day and suddenly all your trades are bad. So spread them, sprinkle them. This and the good thing about it, if I go, you saw what had happened to Apple. Look, if I go to August, if I wanted to collect any premium, I have to be here, close to current price. If I go to January, I can go this is current price. I can go way down here and still collect the premium. So somebody that cannot babysit these trades, this is sitting back in headquarters and fighting the battle with binoculars and calling the action. This trade is being in the trenches and screaming, and bombs are flying overhead. Medics are running around. This is where you're fighting the battle in the trenches. This is easier, and they both accomplish the same thing. This is easier, less. But you're saying, oh, so much time. But if you do this, and you spread them, like if you do one in October, then as time ticks, you got them expiring. So trust me, it's the same thing. You just have to be diligent with it. Opinion buying 200. Okay, so leaps. The word leaps is like that people think that, oh, it's a safer. No, the word leap is just a nomenclature thing. It's just a word. It doesn't make the option any different. So the question, I think, is buying an option better than buying the shares? Never, in my opinion. But it's less money out of pocket. So what does that mean? So this is where we'll define calls. So just a minute ago, I defined puts in a way. It's protection. If I want to protect my stock, I pay premium, I buy a put. When I buy a put, I guarantee myself a sale at that price of my shares. Buying calls. I don't own shares. I want to buy shares. I don't want to risk 100 shares times $145, $150. Instead, I buy a call. So if I do buy a call, that means I spend money right now, in this case, $1,000 almost, 900 per contract. And that guarantees me the ability to buy shares of Apple, 100 of them to be exact for one call, at 150. So if I'm right about the upside potential in Apple and that it's going to 200, I'm locked in at 150. That's why I only spend this. I spend this much right now. So what's wrong with that? Nothing. It's like buying shares. Only time is an element. Let's say Apple crashes, that 900 in one day can drop to 500. So it is fast lose, a fast win situation. So it's not better than owning shares, but it is cheaper.
And guys, on that note, there are a couple more questions that are pretty specific to Nick's style of trading and what that experience is like. So I want to bring on Rodrigo, who I know is very, very active using all of Nick's trades. So Rodrigo, if you wouldn't mind coming on, I'm going to pop you in there right now. Wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your experience and how it works.
Right, absolutely. Well, first of all, we've covered so many topics here. Don't feel overloaded. Just know that we have your back. Nick in the chat room is accessible. But my particular journey, I was trading before. The one thing I have to say is that you really don't know what you don't know. Like, I started with public chat rooms, and then later I figured I was just getting trapped in like these pump and dumps, and ultimately it wasn't really a community feeling. So eventually you'll get burned if you're trying to go to these public chat rooms and such. I didn't have much of a strategy. I was just staring at charts in the market, like I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are, and I wasn't getting feedback, much less from a mentor like Nick Shaheen that really has helped me step up with the options. So this is what I call vacuum trading, right? So it's one of the main reasons traders lose money. It's time you take you're trading seriously. Instead of being in this Reddit chat rooms with fake profiles, you trade in a loyal, verified, helpful community. It goes a long way. So all the members in the chat room, they're part of the Benzinga community. You're earning while you're learning from an experienced mentor like Nick Shaheen. So he really just kicked like some sense into my trades. I didn't know what I didn't know, to put it simply. So, and firms and other traders do this, right? They're able to consistently trade in the green. It's not rocket science, but building a loyal community takes time. That's what Benzinga's been doing for over 12 years. So it was time for me to invest in myself with trading. Just like any other educational field, doctors don't jump into the ER and wing it. Architects don't jump to the job site and wing it. So
Yep.
why in the world would you try to wing trading when you're doing it with your own money, right, Neil?
Yeah, and so I think on that exact point, when you're thinking about your trading career, when I think about my trading career, Rodrigo, with you, and I think every successful trader, you're thinking about it like you're starting a small business, and every business has assets, every business has costs that go into it, and I think one of the best things that you can invest in early on is a good community of people and an educational program to go on with that. Every trade that since the earliest ages of civilization has had a mentor and mentee system. That's your master teaching someone who is new to the apprentice, the master apprentice relationship. So this is why I really strongly encourage you guys to save yourself all the time. And Rodrigo, I mean, you can attest. How much time did you waste just like sort of guessing on how things, like chaotically sort of trading?
Oh, I mean, it's not just even time. It's time and money. You know, you lose those two things starting out, you might not even be able to get back into the markets. So, I mean, I recommend get the education before you're down 80K, because those are the calls that I get. Somebody's telling me, "Can you help me? I'm down 150K. I've never had options education. I have a huge account. I don't know how to do this. I don't." And we have to be real with ourselves. We really have to understand that we need the education, and you need it before. That's why we go to school, preschool, high school, college, right? Because ideally you want to equip yourself with the knowledge to be successful. Winging it, you know, some people are extremely talented, but I'll tell you, you don't want to rely on luck. You rely on luck, you might get lucky one or two times and you'll get burned and done the next time. You need to rely on verifiable trades and community that really work together. Ultimately, when you're doing this by yourself, nobody's questioning your thought. You're really thinking in a vacuum, and that's dangerous because you might not know something about that particular sector or that particular market, you know, and somebody else pitches in, which is the community itself, right? And that's really what it's about, right? Helping each other together. We have one goal, that's to make money and learn.
Trading, I mean, hedge funds don't trade alone. All right, you've got if you're at a hedge fund, you've got a team of traders that are you've got a bunch of teams of traders actually that are each assigned to a particular part of the market or a part of it or a particular financial market that they're trading. Now, they don't just get to go and do that on their own. They don't just get to go and make those trades on their own. They are pitching ideas as groups. They sit around a table. If you've seen the show Billions, that's exactly how it works. This is how the smart money that drives the majority of the market operates. They sit around a table, they talk about their thesis, they act. That is what we're creating here, but for the retail trader, for you guys. So that's the opposite of trading in a vacuum.
So, I mean, you might be asking yourself, like, how does Nick do this? Well, I mean, just to cut down to the point, you're getting daily picks on the chat room, daily index tracking. If you're not doing that, you need to correct that. So that's what I love about Nick, giving you a daily game plan on what he's looking at, bullish or bearish, because ultimately we need to get our feelings out of the way, guys. It's hard. We can't fall in love with stocks. You get burned. Don't do that mistake. You know, just ultimately, and Nick knows that, and that's why he's been so successful. So you'll be getting daily index tracking, so you know which markets are performing, and then also advanced trading strategies, educational content, trade setups. I remember this thing with the Chinese stocks. So like a bunch of people were like, "Hey, Nick, what do I do with Baba? What do I do with Didi? What do I do with Baidu? And so Nick's like, look, I wouldn't get in there, but if I would get in there, this is how I would do it. So several chat members, just said thank you. They sent me an email like, hey, just please say thanks to Nick because he made a 20-minute video for like over those like hundreds of people that were asking about the Chinese stocks. And guess what? They all banked. They're all in the green because Nick took the time, went above and beyond for the subscribers and the chat members ultimately, because it is a family. It is a community. We really want you to do well. That's why we're giving you this laptop. We've gotten the feedback from subscribers that, hey, I'm only trading from my phone. I don't have a place to do my research. So part of us trying to be responsible with this is giving you the tool you need to be able to access the chat room, to be able to interact with Nick and open the videos and the formats and get in there, right? The game plan, ask your questions. We're all here to learn. There's people that are super experienced. There's people that are beginning, and ultimately don't get discouraged because we're all one team with the same goal. Nick is literally helping all of us improve our options trading because you do want to do this sooner or later. Just like education, imagine going to preschool when you're 40, right? You're starting a little late. You kind of want to start early. The earlier that you start, the better. You've seen this, you've heard this. The earlier you start becoming more financially literate, the better off you will be because you understand these terms and you're able to, fend for yourself. So, I mean, this has helped me in so many ways, Neil, to be honest, because it was kind of reckless the way I was trading options back in the day, just going calls and puts. And
yeah.
I feel like Nick is talking about me when he's like, would you buy these calls up here? Like that's what I was doing before in trading in a vacuum. So ultimately, I even go into the chat room and ask Nick questions. Like it's okay. We're all in there to learn.
Yep. And you can see here, what you see on the screen is Nick is bouncing between his Benzinga chat rooms here. And to answer your question, Vey, is this a daily used chat room? Yes. This is the model is supposed to be 5 days a week during the trading week, but Nick is in there often on weekends, and that's what he's doing right now. He's taking some questions. There are other traders that are in there getting ready for the week. They're asking questions about stocks. Nick is doing the technical analysis, explaining why he thinks about them the way he does, and that's what you're getting. So guys, that and we kind of slowed down a little bit. We're down to 9 laptops left. That's 9 out of 30. So huge congratulations. I'll make sure that I give a shout out to everyone that got in. Big welcome to the family. We'll see you in there on Monday. But we'll get back to the education now, and I'll just keep you guys up to date on those laptops because I know that that's important for some of you.
Okay, so I see the same question, Ramon. Hopefully it's not Raymond. Anyway, how do I assess if the premium is worth it? Well, it's a personal preference. I have my own parameters. Like if somebody tells me, hey, what do you think of that spread? If they tell me what it pays, I can tell them my opinion of it. That's how it becomes like a second nature. So there isn't one right answer. I can tell you I need it to count. And when I'm selling put, it's just a matter of if I want to own shares there and if it's worth the effort. Like that 50-cent one for Apple wasn't screaming at me. I'd rather go out in time and collect more. So it's a matter of preference. There isn't one right answer. And as far as Alden is asking, which expiry is the right one? I tend to like out in time. So because I'm busy and I don't have time to fiddle around with it. So I go out in time. And so somebody asked about the Viacom's trade. This is the setup, the chart that went with it. I don't have it in front of me because I did it from my vacation and I did it off of my little Surface, which is 10 inches screen. So I don't remember the parameters of it. I'm sorry. But I do remember that I shared stop loss levels. Depends on the action. And it is losing support. Friday's close was terrible. And it is close to stop out level number 1. So I'm looking for what happens to Viacom versus what it did in the middle of June. So here we are in the middle of a month later, almost exactly, not almost exactly. I want to see how it handles it. Last time it bounced off of it. It was a terrible day. It bounced off. What will it do here? If it does bounce, I want to watch for the second test of it. Then I would get out. As far as it looked like it didn't cost me any money, I don't have the parameters in front of me, so I don't want to comment on it blind. But if I said sell a put to own shares, I can't imagine I did it like right away here. But if I did, then I would have to manage that risk and how much I like the company long term or not. Okay, this is a special situation because of what happened to it from Reddit. The rally up to the top was incredibly stupid, and the crash, therefore, was equally as stupid. Through no fault of its own, fundamentally still a viable company. I would own the shares with confidence as a company. Okay, so somebody, okay, cool. I answered the question. Somebody said the closer. That was pretty funny, actually. Well, it's easy to sell something like these guys are trying to do when you have belief in what it does. So somebody, I think it was also the trailer guy. So he mentioned the fact that he wants to know what kind of fish or how big a fish it is. So big and small is a relative term. My son fished on vacation and caught a fish, and he thought it was huge. And the person that he showed it to, poo-pooed all over his parade by saying, "Whoa, what happened? This is the one you kept?" Kind of was like, what a jerk move that was to tell him that. It was a good sized fish. So relative term there. So the method is, I'm very confident of the method and very confident of the levels I sell because of my skills on the charts. I'm not a technical analyst, but I can put up my skills against the best of them. Notice I don't have many indicators there, studies. Look, everything is hand drawn. I show the regression line just for visual representations. Say when I'm looking at the SPY, I want to visually see it, but it's not an actual thing. The only study I have here that you see is this volume profile on the left. That's it. And the number one tool I have are my eyeballs. That's why I'm very confident with the levels I use, because they're based on absolute fact, not projections. Like, I don't have anything against Ichimoku clouds and harmonics, because they use most likely Fibonacci extensions and because they work. But there's no denying a level. Like, I know this level was bought with ferocity, so I can count on it being a bounce level on the first visit of it, 427.3. If I'm buying puts as price falls into it, I'm making a mistake. Wait to see what happens there. If I want to buy the dip at that level, I am confident it's a logical trade to take with a tight stop. So these are facts. I'm confident of those. So when I sell something, I'm confident of the level I'm selling at. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but how about we hit some charts? Because I think when we were waiting for this whole thing to start, we had 1,000 tickers. Am I right, folks? Benzinga? So is it appropriate to pop in with a few charts?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. All right, guys, drop those tickers. Let's see it. What are you trading? What are you looking at? Drop the tickers. Nick is going to do a full rundown like he does every day for all his subscribers.
Okay, so speaking of, I just shared a video, 2 videos. One was a strategy for the week, so like a 12-minute video, and I popped in the chat room. And the other one was, I call them fast fires. I may have borrowed the name from somebody on TV. I'm not sure, so I don't want to take full credit for that. This was these tickers. So this video was like 25 minutes because I go into details of each ticker. So let's do the same here. Let's do our own fast fire video. All right. So I saw CCIV, which was the first one that popped in. We'll go with that. Okay. Not my favorite EV company. So I'm not a fan of the company because they don't have a P&L yet. I don't poo-poo the car. The car is beautiful. I believe this is Lucid Motors. So, but the fact that they don't have a profit and loss statement that has sales and profits and things like that, I'm not looking for profits. So at least the sales stream, it's a lot of hope. So if the stock market crashes, this one will go to the toilet just from that fact. There's nothing supporting it. However, it's in support right here because that's what they just did. So the assumption is that it will hold again until it fails. So anything below 22 could bring 20 and then a retest of the 20 to the 17 and a half, 18 zone. If I bought it here, I don't add here. That's my opinion. If I want to chase a breakout, I should see what it does above 27.50 and more importantly, above 30. Those are 2 triggers. I think it will have a lot of sellers go into 25. Remember that what happens when the behavior changes? So I want you to track something here. I'm going to go to a 60-minute chart and reset the chart. Ooh, now we have clarity. Okay, so bounces into 24 and 24.5 will have sellers. So it would need a headline to bust through all of this. Bounces into 25.5 and 26 are going to face bigger sellers. Okay, so be careful chasing pops, because what will the machine do on pops? Will it sell the pop? That's the question. I think they will, so be careful. So it's support versus machine selling rips. Okay, Apple, it's really easy, Richard. It's not a buyable point. I'm short Apple by owning puts. Not a hardcore position. Was a pick. It's already profitable. I may choose to book profits, but it is not an obvious point of entry for Apple. That's easy to DS going for 4 tickers. I would not get long Wells Fargo yet. Marvell in a little bit. Let me see here. SOXL, that's kind of too general. UPST, I already shared the stock, the chart. I mean, there's nothing more to be said. It's the lines are on the chart. I did share a trade, and this is the range we were playing with. I want to see what it does here versus the sellers up top, kind of like with CCIV. I want to know that there aren't any sellers above. Michael.
Really quick, Nick, can you just go over like why is it that you love credit put spreads in comparison to other types of option trades? Because a lot of new traders are trying to get into that, and that's your style, kind of, in a sense, right?
Sure. So here, somebody's asking about Cleveland Cliffs. So I don't know the company fundamentally. I know they're a legitimate company, and they have a decent P&L going now. I don't know if that's temporary or not. So buying a call would require the stock to stop falling and rally. If it doesn't stop falling and I bought a call, I'm going to lose money at a high rate of speed, like fast. Because I need something to happen in my favor. If it doesn't happen, I lose a little bit. If it happens the opposite, I lose a lot of bit. You know what I mean? Versus selling a put or a put spread into big fear. So when a stock does this, the put premiums are very hot. So if I sell it, somebody's overpaying. And if I'm confident in the fact that 18 should hold, and technically it looks like where it's going to be 18.5, there's going to be a lot of support in this ticker. So my preference would be to sell a put or a put spread into that fear to see if I can create income without needing a rally. So that's literally what I would be doing. I would be giving myself the edge because I'm selling something that has an 85% chance of success, and time is on my side. All I need is for this to stop collapsing, and then I win. That's why I like to sell puts and put spreads into bad days versus chasing rallies and needing something to happen.
Okay, so we went over worst case scenario for a call, right? Which is typically like the main mistake that like new traders make. Yep. So let's go over maybe the worst case scenario for like, the trade, your style with the, yep.
So here's how I would trade this ticker. I don't know the company, and if I would own the shares, I would go into here. Let's see if I can get some statistics. So it's only 1.4 times its sales, so it's not exorbitantly expensive from that perspective. It loses money, so there's no quote value because it loses money. Let me see, revenues 1.7. So whoa, what? Holy crap. Okay, so revenues are huge for some reason. It must be the price of whatever they do. So growing top line, strange. So there's nothing fundamentally that I can hate about it. So the assumption is that, okay, the fundamentals are good, and I want to catch the falling knife. So if I do the worst case scenario, let's go to CLF. Let me see what kind of options it offers. So now by the way, this is not a trade recommendation. We're just discussing something here. I don't want somebody to go on Monday and start trading this because I'm not giving it a lot of thought here. So September, okay, we'll go with September. So if I wanted to catch the falling knife and I want to own shares, I would just go out and buy 100 shares, and they would cost me 100 times 20 bucks. Okay, that's the risk. That's the maximum I could lose. Time is not a factor. All I wanted to do is just rally anytime between now and whenever. If I buy calls and the price doesn't rally or price falls, I'm going to lose fast. If I sell puts and I want to own, instead of buying the 100 shares, I would sell the put and I collect 100 bucks now for the promise of buying the shares at 17. Worst case scenario, I would wake up one day because price collapsed, and this put position would be very red. And then suddenly I get assigned shares, and then that red situation disappears. I keep my 100 bucks, and now I own shares at 17. I didn't participate in the losses at all yet. Now I own shares at a base cost of 17 with $1 in the pocket. So my break even is 16. So I get assigned shares, I own shares, no losses until I keep the shares below 16. So if it falls below 16, so here I start losing money. So that's the worst case scenario. Start losing money from here to wherever it ends up holding.
So, okay, so if I understand this straight, so I can simple this down for everybody. We got a lot of new traders, and we definitely want to make sure that we can digest this in an understandable way. This is almost like you're buying the stock at a discount, and you get paid on the way down because you're protecting yourself with the spread.
Well, this is, if I sell the naked put, I'm not protected. I'm basically selling insurance to somebody that wants protected. So I'm pre-buying the stock. I'm saying, hey, you out there, whoever owns 100 shares, I will buy your shares at that price. So I'm guaranteeing them a purchase of that share at that price. So I am committing. I'm locking my price in. Yes, I'm getting paid to do it. So it's like saying, hey, you want to buy the shares now? How about I pay you $100 for you to buy them lower? Would you be in? Sure. That's what I'm saying. I'm in. Here, pay me now. I'll buy the shares lower. However, I may not buy the shares. It all depends if they will give them to me or not. So I'm not in control. If I sold that put, they're in control. Me, I can just watch the price action and see if I still like it, if I still like it, if I still like it. If I still like it, I'll just sit in it. I either own shares at a discount or made $100 out of thin air. But when I do a put spread like this, and let me show the difference. So this is a sold put. This is a sold put spread. So selling a put naked, only this. Selling a put spread limits the risk from 17 to 16. I can make it 17 to 15, 17 to 14, 16 to 14. Matter of preference where I want to put my risk. Okay, I can move the risk. That's the risk. Selling the put opens risk. Buying the put limits the risk.
Correct.
Limits the risk.
And that kind of falls down, Nick, to your like overall strategy that we're looking at this as a marathon, not a sprint, right? We're not trying to get rich in one day. We like consistent gains over the long run, right?
Yep. So I'm patient. Somebody would poo-poo the fact that, oh, this is only 40 cents. Well, it's a 40 cents that has a high degree of success. So here's the thing. My choice of risk. I like to place a risk where I have a high chance of success. In order for me to get the quote safe, and there's nothing safe. If there's safety 100%, there's no reward. A safe trade that has high degree of success, usually in my style of trading, risks more dollars. So I'd rather risk more dollars down here than less dollars up here, because here it's a coin flip. Price is right there. Where's my edge? Nothing. Here's my edge. And for that edge, I have to let go of something. What is that let go? I can lose more money because I'm collecting less. So I'll give you an example. Somebody asked earlier, I forgot who it was. Sorry, I didn't answer you. They asked, do I do 0 days till expiration, the 0 DE? So yes. So these are trades that I sell in. They're usually the SPX or the SPY, or on Friday, any ticker. Monday and Wednesday, the SPX and the SPY has contracts that expire every week. So I set a trade for that week. So I could sell a put spread that collect $1 where I'm risking 4 and have a good chance of success. Or I can sell one that gives me $2 and risk less because now I'm only risking $3. But that would be a complete coin flip. I'd rather risk $4 than risk $3 and have better odds. So that's me. So in this case, I'd rather be here, have better odds, risk more money than here, have no odds. I mean, I have no edge. The odds are 50-50, basically 40-60. That's 50-50 to me. That's Vegas. Here, I'm doing homework. I'm saying, hey, this is worth something. It's got a lot of support here. Even if I get assigned here, I have support. The downside damage is limited. So that's my thinking.
Right. And if you just joined in, guys, I just want to welcome you here. This is our Benzinga Options Inner Circle chat room session that we're doing here, typically with subscribers only. We go over the education, we go over the tools, we go over things that ultimately as traders, we kind of want to be on the in, right? But on the note where Nick just touched, I talk a lot with private equity firms, family trading offices, private investors, retail traders, the people that have been doing this for 40 years, 30 years, that are still in the game. They trade literally with Nick's strategy. Now, if you're new, maybe you're starting to learn this, but the big sharks are doing this, and they've been doing this, right? So they always protect themselves. Nick is very big on protecting himself on the downside. as well. So this is something that if you are trying to get into options, maybe it's the best way to do it than if you're just, recklessly buying calls and puts with no strategy. You don't want to blow up your account. It's happened to me twice already when I first started, and I don't really wish that on anybody, to be honest. So the education's there.
Okay, and I got some nice things to say. I just want to give a big welcome to, I believe it's Sean Ram, and then I'm going off emails, guys. So I'm not like trying to dox anyone. A big welcome to the family, to Sean Ram, to Dwelling, and to Dominic 16. Welcome to the Options Inner Circle family. You should have full access to the chat room now, but we will see you very actively on Monday. For those of you that are also just tuning in, I'm the bad guy now. We're down to 7 laptops. We got a bunch of people in right at the beginning, and it kind of plateaued. So at the beginning, we told everyone we had 30 laptops that we're giving away to the first 30 people to get in, to join us, to subscribe to the Inner Circle chat room. The link is in the description, but I can drop it in chat too if that's easier for you to find. It already has coupon code Inner Circle 70, Inner Circle 70 applied, so you get 70% off, which is a very steep discount for today only, for folks that are watching right now live only. It does expire at midnight. 14-day money back guarantee. If you're too busy, it doesn't work for you, whatever, no questions asked. Rodrigo or one of Rodrigo's associates are your men on the inside, and they will make sure that you're taken care of. So we are at 6 laptops left. Congrats to everyone that's gotten in so far, and we hope to see some more of you in there on Monday.
Daniil, we actually just broke 100 likes. I think, didn't we have a special?
Okay, so I get to be the good guy again. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to 100 likes, guys. So that means that I'm going to unlock a participation gift. So in the chat, just watch. I'm going to give you a $30. What is it called? A gift card, but it's like just a digital code to enter at swag.benzinga.com to get free swag. Who doesn't like free t-shirts and hats and mugs and stuff like that? So guys, that is just for participating, which is what we want to encourage here. We want everyone asking questions. We want everyone learning. I should give a prize just to the people in chat that are answering questions like for Nick as we go. Like they're contributing to the conversation. This is the power of having a group of like-minded traders that are at different levels of experience, that are all following one trading strategy. And that's Nick's trading strategy. I know he's been with Benzinga for about 10 years doing it. What?
I have a lot of ideas come from the chat. I don't have that big a watch list. So it's their participation. We get to beat Wall Street.
That I know. I think that's great. I mean, it's a great group so far, and it's not even that big. This is brand new. We've just launched the chat room. It's only getting better and better. They call that the network effect of once you have more participants in the chat, the better the quality of the content is going to become. So guys, I just dropped the link to the store in chat. Now I'm going to generate a code so that the first 10 people to use the code will get, what did I say, $25? $25 gift credit to buy whatever the heck they want from the store. We've got some really cool stuff. And that's just for participation.
This is from the swag store. It's my favorite. So you guys see it.
There you go. You can get the Benzinga Pro hoodie modeled here by Rodrigo. I believe that is perhaps a size large, looking elegant, a wonderful summer piece. Yes, there we go. All right, so that's what it looks like from the side. Fantastic, Rodrigo. Yeah.
So I'm seeing some good things we need to address in the chat room. So let me know when I can jump in and do, because there's some pretty important things that are being mentioned in the chat.
Okay. I'll shut up, and then I'll drop the link so you guys can get the subscription and you can get the swag stuff. And then we'll get back to the answers.
So Corey signed up, and he's asking about a welcome email to where I share the setups for the week. So Corey, be patient. Just hit the ground running, so to speak. Instead of looking backwards, you can certainly peruse. All the trades are in there when you log into your Benzinga options area, and you will see them in there. But if you have any questions, Rodrigo will be more than happy to help you. And they're better at finding my stuff on the site than I am, but I can imagine they're all listed in chronological order as I share them. But now I'm back from vacation, so the sharing mode will be back to normal pace, and the activity level in the chat room will be at normal levels as well. So thank you for signing up. Somebody else,
congratulations.
yeah, somebody else, Francisco, I believe, said he's thinking about it. So what's to think about, Francisco? They will give you your money back if you do it and you have buyer's remorse. So
just so you know, that my number, I'm going to drop it in. You talk directly to me. We'll have a session and we'll go over how this is going to help you. We can get a more one-on-one, but let's, Nick, run with the education that we're all here for.
Yep.
And here's the thing. So the relationship between Benzinga and I go back 10 years. So if we weren't doing it right, that wouldn't happen. We've been helping folks for 10 years and I love it. It's like the highlight of my day. So I can have an easier day if I don't help anybody, but this is, I feel good about the work we're doing because everything is on the up and up. Everything is on record and we can't be pulling fast phones on you. So thank you for Corey signing up. Francisco, get in it and change your mind later. And as far as the other question came up with regards to signing up is account size. What kind of an account size do I need in order to make this work? Well, the bigger the account, the easier it is, but I've done it with accounts that are 10,000 and more. So I don't know what account size it would require for your goals, but my point is, whatever the account size is, you're going to have a yield on performance. So if I had a $10,000 account and I was buying shares or buying calls, I had whatever percentage. But if I can do something that allows me to win more at smaller percentages and more consistent, what's wrong with having a 10, 12, 15% yield for the year without a lot of headaches? So it can be a easier way to accomplish the goals that one needs. So yeah, the bigger the account, the easier it is because then the trade spectrum of trades expands tremendously. Like what I can do, I can sell naked puts if I wanted to own share versus not being able to do that with a smaller account. So yeah, account size matters, but it's not restrictive. And you want to learn the stuff because there's not only just the trades, there's the aspect of learning charts and getting the answers. So if somebody's looking to trade a stock, they'll pop into the chat room and say, like the GDX today, it wasn't on my trading it wasn't on my desk to trade for this week. I'm long gold and I booked some last week. So the question came from them. They got their answer. So how much is that worth? I mean, the answer on the technicals is bulletproof, in my opinion. I'm very confident of what I told them. So I'm confident that they will be able to trade and manage to trade better at that, however they do it. So it's not just the trade alert part and get the fishing pole, but also get the technical analysis, which I learned on the fly from my own personal. I mean, I'm an engineer. I figured all this stuff out on my own. It's not rocket science, but maybe I have an innate ability for it. And I just love it. The charts are a huge part of the trade. Somebody else asked, do I do verticals? Yes, I shared vertical ideas here, but how about we do a quick lesson? So everybody hears vertical spread. So they want to buy a call or they want to buy a call spread. So what the question was, do I do verticals? Sure. Let me explain verticals first of all. When I say naked, I buy a call naked. I sell a put naked. It means just one leg. That's just the terminology. A vertical spread is using another leg where I buy one and I sell one. Why would I want to do that? So if I buy one alone, naked, I spend $234. If I buy one and I sell one, so now the out-of-pocket expense drops to 65 cents, 66 cents. So, okay, I limited my upside potential, but here I can still make money. So I limit the out-of-pocket expense, and I give back the opportunity to, okay, I'm limiting my maximum win as well. But hey, it's a spreading the risk. It's called a vertical spread. And here's the lesson. That's lesson number one. Then you hear stuff like complicated stuff. Oh, calendar and diagonals and all of that. It's the same thing. So let me explain it to you. This is a vertical spread. Okay, so that's lesson number one. Lesson number two, what's a calendar spread? Same thing. I buy this guy and I sell something else. Instead of selling it here where it looks vertical up and down, I sell it somewhere else. This is the one I sell. What if I sell it for August? Okay, so if I show you August, boom, there it is. So let me take away these 16. There. So I buy this one here same as the one before. And instead of selling the one above it, I sell one above it, not above it. Well, okay, so now we'll go into diagonal above it and a different month. So a different month, August. So now I have a diagonal. So and it's the same as a calendar, only where the calendar, this will be the same level here. So 20. If I sell 20 and 20, you can't see it. It's right off the screen. Maybe 19 will get it. There we go. So if I buy the 20 call and I sell the 20 call in a different time period, shorter time, that's a calendar. If I do this, like move the level at a 22 instead of 20, that's a diagonal. So if we look at them at the screen, they look like, what stock was that? Anybody remember? Oh, CLF.
I forgot.
Okay.
Oh, it was Cleveland Cliffs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. CLF. Okay, so visually, here's the lesson. Now, 3 spreads we just learned, and I'm going to visually represent them. First one, if I bought this call and then sold a call above it. So that's a vertical spread. Or buying this call and selling a call here, shorter term, that's called a calendar spread. Vertical, calendar, either or. Or, hey, what if I do this only at a higher level? So it's a diagonal spread. So vertical spread, calendar spread, change time in levels, turns into a diagonal spread. And that works on puts as well. I buy a put here, and I sell a put below it. That's a vertical put. I buy a put here, and I sell a put closer in time. That's a calendar put. And if I change the levels, it becomes a diagonal put.
I just want to say really quick, we have 3 laptops left, so now is the time if you want to get the sweet trading laptop with 8 gigabytes of RAM, so you can run all of these programs and trade and join the chat room with Nick and everybody else. Now is the time. Link in the description. 3 laptops left, and if we run out, that's it. And then this is where I have to call my boss on the weekend. 90% chance he's on the golf course. And we'll see if we can unlock some more laptops after that. But I cannot guarantee that. 3 laptops left. All right.
Jojo Rabbit. Love you guys. Been super helpful since signing up in February. Nice. Okay. Shout out. So Corey is asking, do I ever see a trade that I feel extremely strong about and I'll let people know about? That's what I do. So sometimes I don't feel very strong and I mention that. But statistically, every trade I have is statistically strong as far as selling puts or put spreads. And if I'm shaky on the upside, I usually say it in the video. So, Corey, if you sign up, first things first, watch the video 3-4 times and really grab the words around the trade itself, my words, because I really mean them when I say them. Like, I feel good about this. I don't feel good about that. Don't see what you think you want to see, because people tend to say, oh, he said go along this one, they buy calls. No, he said go along this one by selling puts or put spreads because I'm unsure about the calls, even though I share them. So make sure to listen to the video. And ultimately, if it was me starting out, I want to start by getting the concept, trading with fake money. And by the way, when you get started, it's totally okay to skip the first few trades if you've never done them and just try to do it with fake money, because we are at all-time highs, people. I don't even trust Apple. So everything has to trade within the prism of the market. And if the market corrects 10%, 5%, 7%, they'll be paying across the board. No one will have winning trades unless they're short. And every once in a while, I send out a note saying, here's how to get insurance, meaning some bearish trades for balance. And then people say, I'm losing money on my insurance. Like, no, you're not. That's doing its job. You don't say, oh, I lost money on my car insurance this month. Yeah. You can't drive without it. So insurance's job is to lose money, but it's there to provide some balance on bad days. So anyway, there are tons of things to do. I promise you an honest effort and an answer to every question. And even if I don't get to answer it, you can ask the team at Benzinga. And the drive to add value is there. and it's unlimited.
Yeah, and this is what I really wanted to portray. Basically, Nick does go above and beyond, and it's not because we tell him. He genuinely has a passion for teaching and mentoring that our subscribers have benefited massively. Even myself, I used to be a trader before I joined Benzinga. Now I'm here inside, and I'm really pushing for you guys, trying to give you the best deals, hooking you up with laptops, hooking you up with education, with weekly webinars. We're grinding every Sunday for you. Some people take it seriously. We take it to the next level. This is the community, and really we live up to it. So you really think about it. We want you to care about your trading success. We're here for the community. This is why we grind every weekend, bringing you the education, mentoring, hooking you up with laptops. And ultimately, if you swing long enough with the sharks, like Nick, you will become one. That's truly the goal here.
Yep. I can't tell you how many times I say things that Nick has said in the past and act like I made it up. But like that's just like goes to show like just trading alongside him and listening to him over the years, I have absorbed so much of Nick's experience, which is fantastic. But I want to touch on something. So Krunal is asking in the chat room, is there a mobile app? Yes, it's completely responsive. Any device that you open the chat room on, it's going to adjust to that device. Very easy to use. It's based on something like Slack or Discord. And then something I want to address. So there was someone that asked if Nick had a Discord. Well, that's what this is. But how is this different from just, you name the Discord that you can just join and go in there and there's a million people throwing out a ton of stuff. And yes, there's value there, of course. How is this different? With this, you're getting 24/7 support. You have support staff that is dedicated to your success. If you don't understand what's going on, not only are you going to get answers in the chat room, but you're also going to get phone, chat, and email support from Benzinga staff. All right. You're going to get access to Benzinga exclusive content, which is trades explained in a way that you can understand. We're not just tossing out, hey, here's what I'm doing right now. Figure it out and see if you can follow along. This is designed for everyone to participate of all levels of sophistication, all levels. If today is the first day that you ever thought about options trading, this is the best place to start, because this is a chat room where every idea that comes in is going to say, here's the stock. Here's why I like it or don't like it right now. And here's step by step what I'm about to do. And then all questions answered in the chat. And then anything about your account, anything like that, it's Benzinga. We're behind you. So we've got your back in every regard there.
Neil, and if you think about it, like I went to finance school and I can tell you I spent 6 digits on something that never even taught me what is a trader, what is an option. Maybe there's a reason they don't teach it, but ultimately for what we're doing this for an annual subscription, which is 2 semesters of college, daily education, every single day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekends, chat member only webinars, only for chat members. Basically, we have these sessions. So you're going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Every day we go for you guys hard. This is meant for you to learn and become profitable. Otherwise, we just give you a chart, a little text format, and call it a day, right? Call it a day. But ultimately, this is really why you want to be part of this option group. Just the chat member session that we do on weekends, because I've tried a lot of services and I get everything and more with this package. So not getting the education, not getting the mentorship is like driving a bike with no helmet and a flat tire. You really are setting yourself up for failure, but you don't even know it, of course, because you don't know what you don't know. Back to square one, right? So don't wait until you blow up your account. Don't make the mistakes that I did. Get the education before.
So let me jump in here. Literally, somebody just asked in the chat room, "Hey Nick, how was your vacation?" Mentioned the oil trade. I was going to looking to short oil them too, because they saw my comments about it, and they said, "How would you do it?" And I said how I did it, and I shorted oil by selling a call spread above here, and it won at 51. I booked it last week. So I said, hit me up on Monday to see how we can trade this. I don't know where it's going to trade. So there is support. If that support is lost, support level up 1 is a trigger for a bearish pattern, which should come to here. And there's another level of support here, but I think the real support is down here. So buying a put or a put spread could work, but I wanted to acknowledge them to their question in the chat room. So this is how trading ideas come up. It's not all me. It's some of the stuff does not make it into the general write-ups, and the only way you can get this is by being in the chat room. So I'm loving that this popped in right now from Pitbull. So thank you for that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Pitbull.
Yeah, really. I was going to make another, earlier Rodrigo asked me something about sharing a put spread in the worst case scenario. And I wanted to share. So Rocket is one of the stocks that made us a lot of money this year. We were lucky into the spike, the super spike. And then I liked the stock. Unfortunately, like Palantir, good companies with extremely good profit and loss statement wrapped up in the Reddit tornado. So it's good on the way up, but on the way down, they don't deserve the beating they get. So I've been using those dips in order to sell puts and put spreads to get long the stock. Well, in this case, the worst case scenario of a credit put spread, how do I handle it? So if I did a credit put spread and now it's completely in the money, so I'm going to give you an idea of people. I don't think enough people do that. And when they sell a put spread, they panic and they buy it back for a huge loss. So here's one of those situations, this one in Palantir. I love the stocks. And if I'm assigned the stocks, so be it. So if I had a put spread, let's say I collected $1 and it's a $5 white spread. It's not, but let's say it is. And suddenly the put spread is completely in the money. I wouldn't defend it. I would sell the protection leg, collect the money. So now I have a huge buffer waiting for me to get assigned the shares. So if I sold it at 18, the worst case scenario is I wake up on Monday owning shares at $18 and I have a huge buffer now, and I break even at 16 or 15. Sweet. That's what I would want to do. I wouldn't even defend it and take the loss in the put spread. I would just take the shares and sell the protection leg for more money. And then now I have a buffer that's lower. So there are things I can do, but depends on the stock. I wouldn't do this in AMC because I don't believe in the company. Personal preference. Somebody else might. They can do it. Me, no. So in this case, I like the stock, but if it loses here, I have to be realistically open to a much, much lower entry point. So if I'm down in the stock, I don't add to it here. These conversations can only happen inside the chat room. I couldn't possibly have these conversations in the trade write-up. So it's important to engage on these trades as they go along. And the only way to do it is for us to have a talking relationship. And, I understand it's expensive. I get it, but there's a crap ton of efforts on this part to make it worthwhile. And in my opinion, I'm telling you, if I had to do it all over again, I would never trade alone ever, ever. Because I have so many good people in the chat room that I learned stuff. I had 3 people that were great harmonics people. And I learned harmonics from them. I'm not an expert, but I know how to use the charts that I buy. So I pay for a service that draws harmonics for me, and I know how to use it. Because you need to be a specialist in harmonics to make it work. But I learned the basics from them, and now I can apply it because of them. So everybody wins when we trade in groups.
And we just got a question. How can I access the live chat on a daily basis from Charisma? Charisma, once you become a subscriber, it's just a URL that you go to, and you can access it on any device that you have, as long as you have access to the internet. And it works everywhere just fine. And guys, congratulations to everyone that got in. We are out of our laptops. So
man, I knew this would happen, man. I knew this would happen, man. But we got to hook them up, Neil. We got to hook them up. We got to come through for the guys.
I'm glad. What I want to say is the guys and the gals, everyone that has gotten in. I'm very, very glad that you guys have joined. The bigger this group gets, the better we get. Nick has given a ton of examples of that. So big Benzinga family, welcome to the Benzinga Options Inner Circle chat room. You will not regret this decision. This is probably, I think this is the best possible investment you can make in yourself when you first start trading. This is not just options. Yes, that is how we're executing the majority of our trades, because that's you can do it in any market. You can make money on a stock going up, down, and sideways. So this is just a very smart place to start. But if you want to learn technical analysis and fundamental analysis, to the 30 that just got in, you guys, and you know who you are. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on investing in yourself. You will not regret this. And if you're too busy to really get everything out of the subscription, remember, 14 days money back guarantee. We will take care of you, no questions asked. So guys, I'm gonna take a break for a second. I'm gonna take a cuppy. I'm gonna make a coffee. I'm gonna make a coffee and put it in an adult cup and drink it, and then I'm going to call the powers that be at Benzinga and see if I can get a little more budget to get some more laptops. Carrie says, "What's the deal without the laptop? I have like 10 already." The deal is the same. It's already 70% off, which is this. If you're trading right, if you're following along, this is designed to make your money back on the subscription almost immediately. That's the idea.
A day or two. It's a couple days. We get daily picks. Let's just be clear here, guys. Daily picks. Okay, this means that the trades that you get are up to date, right? Because there's no lag there. Nick is scanning the markets every single day, so you pretty much get what he's looking at.
The laptop might have Windows 11 that those other 10 laptops don't have Windows 11. So.
Okay. So Nick's up to date on the new operating system. All right, just so everyone knows. So Windows 11 looks pretty sweet. So you might get that installed. You might have to update it. That's fine. But guys, so the subscription is normally $6,000 a year. We're getting it below $2,000 a year. If you're getting daily options trades, we cannot make guarantees about money made or anything like that. That's simply not you don't do that. Company, no one is really allowed to do that. But if you're trading options daily and you've got a strategy and you've got a mentor, all it takes is one trade to make the money back on this subscription. That is what this is designed to do. We are Benzinga. We are a very large platform. And so we are putting as much value into this as possible at an absolute low price. Our goal here is to give the lowest price, every man, every woman price for folks to get in and start their trading careers off correctly. So that's what this is. So without, I'm going to fill my cuppy up now with some coffee and try to unlock some more laptops for you folks. But even without the laptop, guys, still, this is an insane deal.
Just so you know, I'm going to fight for the laptop.
3/4 of my Diet Mountain Dew 2-liter bottle.
So let's go. Let's go. All right. We need to get Nick some more Mountain Dew, guys. So we need more subscribers to come in.
You need to get me Bang. That gets me off the wall, but I'm out, so I'm sticking with Bang.
Okay. Oh yeah, Nick is a different man after a Bang Energy. It's hilarious. All right. Be right back, guys. I'm going to call. All right. The man.
So here I did field another question earlier. I didn't field it. I saw it. Leg out. Do you leg out? Actually, the question would be leg out or leg into spreads. Doable, but you have to know what you're doing. I have done it before, and I will do it again, but it has to be a special circumstance. So yes, I could do it. Ideally, no. For example, another way of legging out, for example, I was short the USO call spread. So I sold a call and I bought a call above it. And the trade won because price fell last week. It had a couple of bad days or a couple of bad stints. And I said, you know what? I want to close it. And it was 2 cents to close the whole, 1 cent to close the spread, or 2 cents to buy only the short leg. And that takes off the risk. And I was like, I'll just close half the short legs. And then I'm out of the risk for less cost. So I can leg out, but I shouldn't. By definition, I like to do the spread as a spread, but it's definitely doable. Every situation is different. Let's see here. Account size, I did that. Verticals, we did that. Oh, okay. Covered put, I don't think I did that. Somebody asked, can I do a covered put? I don't know what that means. There isn't such a thing. There's a covered call, and let me address that, because that's a risk that people do, and it's a risk that will blow up your account, and your family will hate you for it. So I'm going to give you two things I don't do, and I forbid you from doing them: shorting stocks outright and selling calls outright, naked calls. What does that mean? Okay, so let's go to GME, the original. All right, so actually Tilray is the original, but let's go with GME. Daily chart. There we go. So to short a stock, traditionally, you may know this already. So what happens? I don't own shares. I want to short the stock. I go out and borrow shares. I borrow 100 shares at in this case, what GME was, $15. Let's say $20. At $20, and I borrow the shares. I think it's falling, and I sell them, and I collect $20. Now I owe somebody 100 shares, and then GME does this. I have to return 100 shares. I have to pay $500 to get my per share. So I'm losing for as long the position is open. There's an unlimited risk. To me, that's unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination. Somebody would say, "Oh, I'll sell calls instead." Same thing, same risk. When I sell a call, I'm guaranteeing somebody that I will deliver shares at that level. If I don't have those shares, that's a naked call sale. If I have 100 shares of GME, it's called a covered call sale. Not as bad.
Hey, really quick, we're good. We got 9 laptops to give away. Just
all right.
We got 9.
Cool. So if I own shares, I can sell calls against them. That's limited risk. That's fine. If I don't own shares and I sell a call, I'm committing to unlimited risk, not a situation I like or condone. So if it was any member of my family, I would say, "You're doing this. I forbid you to do that," because that's who takes unlimited risk. A very cocky person. No, not me. Whatever happened here can happen at any point in time. Not for me. So covered puts, there's no such thing. If I own shares and I sell a put, I'm basically saying I want to own more shares. The shares I own are not affected. If I own shares and I buy a put, then my shares are somewhat protected, because if it goes to zero, I'm guaranteed to sell my shares at that put I bought for the period of time I'm holding the put open. So covered put, I guess, would be if I own shares and I bought puts, but that's just buying protection. Selling a put naked is me saying, I want to buy shares. It has nothing to do with me having shares right now. Anybody can sell a put as long as they can buy the shares. Little gray area where the platforms these days would let you sell a put, even though you don't have enough money to buy the shares, which is pretty crazy, but they let you do it to a degree. So if I cannot buy the shares, I will not ever sell the put, because that's how I wake up to a locked up account. Not the end of the world, because then you sell the shares and you unlock the account. But hey, it's a hiccup you don't want. You'll definitely end up having to change your underwear that morning the first time it happens, maybe the second time too. but the account locks up if you don't have enough premium cash in the account to actually fulfill your duty of buying said shares. So technically your account is locked up until you make a call. Hello, E-Trade. Earlier somebody said, how do you enter a trade in E-Trade? So this is a platform I use because I've used it forever and it's grandfathered in. I don't recommend it because it's awesome. In fact, in the morning it hangs up if it's a busy day. So it's not awesome by any means, but it is easy to set up trades in. So this is a platform where it allows you to see all different contracts for whatever stock you have. And let's say if I want to do a trade for September, I choose September. It has 61 days. If I wanted to sell a put, I click on it. I hit trade. It defaults to whatever number you want it to default to. This is a practice platform I have with them. If I wanted to buy it, I wanted to sell it, I can change my wanting to do that. If I wanted to add a leg, now see, there are two here. If I want to buy one and sell one, if I want to switch them around to be bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Bullish puts, Nick, what are you talking about? Well, it's a credit put spread. Therefore, I need price to stay above here. So it's a bullish trade that doesn't need a rally to win. Okay. So we'll go back to that statement. Why do I like these? Okay, then now I'm backtracking. I should have opened with this. Why do I like credit put spreads? Okay. So what is easier, to find out where the stock is going or where it's not going? There's a whole bunch of other places where it's not going. Find one of those places, sell risk, and let time do its job. That's why I like them. Here, the scenario is, if it gets a rally, I win. If it doesn't rally, I win. If it falls a little bit, I win. The only way I'd lose if it crashes. So that's why I like it.
Good, Nick. So, you spend a lot of time in the chat room. You've developed some good relationships there. Right? A lot of the people there that you talk to every day, right? Eventually. So can you share just a couple of things you've seen there with chat members? Because ultimately, you know them, you talk to them every day, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to say it again. Can I share their relationships that I have in there?
Well, I mean, how you've helped them and all that,
Oh.
have like the progress you've seen in some of your, students per se.
Yeah.
Also,
Sure.
Nick, can you share the screen for the Inner Circle chat?
Yes. This one?
Yeah, just so folks can get an idea of the layout. And just so you guys know, this is a part of the business that's still really new. We are adding a new dedicated developer just for this part of the business. So this is going to be the best damn chat room. This is going to make Discord look like a Model T. All right, so this is going to be the best damn chat room on the planet.
Whoa, that's a big bar there. High bar. Good for you. Good for you. I like it.
We want the Tesla of chat rooms.
Well, you have to remember these are verified users. In Discord, you have a lot of fake profiles, a lot of bots that are just there to pump and dump. You don't want to, that's why this is obviously upper scale, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So in my absence, I'm looking to see what happened. Like this person right here jumped in and shared the market on closing balance, the MOC number. That's usually something I pop in there. Relationships. So often in this room, somebody asks questions, and then if I don't answer fast enough, somebody will jump in and answer it. I love that. You guys mentioned it earlier. It happened today in the chat room here. Somebody jumped in. Two or three people that I saw jumped in and answered some questions. So here's somebody that has an IBKR question. If I don't know the company, somebody would tell me this is what the company does. But the important part is here. What Rodrigo's asking for is in here. And I don't have their permission to show these chats, but it's a direct one-on-one. Like, this person I know will pop in and say, hey, I did this and I did that. Thank you for keeping us up to date with the USO trade, because they followed me into the Goldman Sachs short and the USO short, and I let them know how risky it was and how against the grain it was, and it took some heat, and they said, oh my gosh, I'm red, what do I do? I said, I'm not doing anything. So that kind of gave them the my honest opinion. I'm not doing anything. I'm facing the beast, and I think they're wrong, and I think I'm right. And guess what? I was right. So like here, USO bearish trade. Whoop, somebody just posted something. I guess I lost my track, wherever. Anyway, so the relationship is here, but I don't have their permission to click on it to show you the, I call them the good mentions. So like here, somebody said, I can't find the December. Oh, perfect. The December 17th Viacom options table. Somebody jumps in. Matt goes, what trading platform? Interactive Broker. You may have unselected. And then they shared where they find this on the platform. That's not me. That's somebody else jumping in. Actually, a different person. Nick always says, in my absence, somebody's quoting me. That's great. So there you go. On the fly. Actually, let's go see if somebody posted something. It jumped on me. Nope. Somehow I felt a glitch. Anyway, so the relationships are there. Trust me, they're there. I talk to hundreds of people. That's why I need all the caffeine, because I have to be up on the answers real quick.
Healthiest form of caffeine on the market.
Huh?
The healthiest form of caffeine on the market.
Yeah, sure. The one that puts a hole in your stomach, I hear.
Mountain Dew, ladies and gentlemen. Mountain
Diet.
Sorry. And hey guys, we slowed down a little bit, but that's good. We've got a small group of very dedicated folks here. I think we're at about 126 viewers now. Overall, during this session, we had a max of 600, but we're at about 127 now concurrent viewers. We have 6 laptops left, so if you want to upgrade your subscription and get into that chat room and join this more active form of trading, which again, I mean, listen, if you're only planning on doing it for 1 year, just try 1 year to see if it's for you. If you're making like I think of myself as a person who works full time and then trades as a side hustle. This is for me. Having a chat room that I can have open, check in on my phone. That's all I need. It's something that you can turn this into a full trading session thing, all hours of the day, full attention, or it can be check in for 20 minutes. Spread out through the day to get your trade setups and questions answered. So just letting you guys know that we are down to our last few laptops, and I'm not going to ask my boss again for more budget. You can reach out to Rodrigo if you got more questions there, and the link is in the description.
Let's make fun of the people that left. Can you post their handles?
Yeah, I can do that. We can do that. Why do you turn your back on success?
Yeah. So no, the back and forth is what I like. It makes the day go quicker. It restricts me from trading short-term trades. Like I can track the intraday action on the 5-minute basis for the SPY, for example, and make some trade the futures, for example, which would be a lot easier life for me. But I can't do that because I'm in the chat room all the way. By the way, I saw somebody have a question earlier about what indicators I have, and somebody else jumped in and they mentioned the name of this one up here. So I shared it while you were talking, and this one is called it's a volume profile study. That's the study, the traditional name for it. It's huge in my opinion because they say,
Nick, really quick for folks that are watching along, sometimes it depends on your TradingView subscription. You might have to type VRPR to get that to show up. So volume profile or VRPR.
That's not free. I don't believe their free version offers that. The whatever pay version 1 is, I don't get paid by TradingView. They let me play around with the setup. So that's my reward. I don't have to pay for my subscription, but they tell me, why don't you sign up for a referral thing? I was like, no, I want to just refer to it, a non-biased thing. But anyway, yeah, it is a volume profile. The VR stands for variable range. So watch, when I zoom in, it changes. So that's why it's called VR. It's volume profile, variable range. They have one that's a set range that doesn't change if I zoom in or out, but I like this one better. Study it and see what it means, because level is my main thing. Find the levels that matter. That's the action points. And then see if you can get the confirmation from the volume where price is truth. This is where price lives. Who cares when the action happened? These are the volume bars down here. Who cares? This is where they happen. Like here, it tells me that $390 is super important for this market. So if the S&P crashes to 390, I should load up because there's going to be buyers. So I don't panic out when it hits 390 because that's where it's going to stop falling, slow down. So study the study of volume profile. It's very simple. Point of control is the busiest spot, and then it gives you the sandbox. Okay, and the other one, if you're a fast trader intraday, they offered this one, which is for every day. Look, volume profile for every day. This is very important. It tells me that rallies into 434 next week, I should sell them. There's going to be sellers here. Just from me looking at it. Why? Look at the bump. So it's going to be on the way up, it's resistance. On the way down, it's support.
Nick, and someone here is asking about TLT. I know that a couple of, including myself, members made big bank on TLT, GLD. I mean, you put a couple good wins out there.
I'm long TLT. It's been a tough trade on the way down. I tried. It was hit and miss 50% on the way down. I tried and I get stopped out. I tried, I get stopped out. I was like, gosh, dang it. They're going to have to come back to the table. It doesn't make sense. So now they're coming back into the table. And has it snapped out of the descending pattern? And if it has, then this alert, I would chase it. The breakout of 150, it's huge. So don't get faked out. But it's super exciting. I am long. I trimmed. I locked profits. And now I'm playing almost with free money. Almost. But there is going to be a lot of sellers up here. But if they can knock it out, they can go higher, a lot higher. How much? Here's the thing. What happens in the TLT is going to have huge repercussions, not because it's a price driver for the market. You've always heard bonds, stocks. They often go in opposite direction, but it's not a rule. So mathematically, there's no correlation, inverse correlation. But on panic days, they will pile into the bond market for safety on panic days. And in this case, I think it's a no-win situation for the stock bulls from the message that comes from the bond market trade. So if the TLT crashes, the price of the bonds crashes, the yield, the rates will spike. And that's a one inverse relationship that's absolutely true. So you will see the 10-year yield high, and then CNBC will freak out because then that's like a form of inflation when rates suddenly go up. That's the opposite of what the Fed's trying to do. That's a problem for the stock market. And if the TLT spikes, this one, that means yields are crashing, and I think stocks will freak out too. That's why I am bearish stocks from this point. Not enough to short everything under the sun, although I am short a lot of things and I'm trimming as I'm winning. But I think the stock market has some tough days, potentially tough days ahead, because of what the TLT is saying. They're saying there's something hugely wrong. Yep.
I think that is a good note to end on. We're approaching 3:30 Eastern time.
Okay.
So, guys, if you want to stay in tune with what the market is doing, I think that's a little bit of an HBO cliffhanger onto the episode there. Make sure that you guys are joining us in the Inner Circle chat room with Nick. Nick, thanks so much for spending, I think we did 2.5 hours of just pure education. This has been fantastic. So thanks so much for spending the time with us on a Sunday, man.
I appreciate the opportunity. The team is awesome, and I stand behind you 100%.
Great, guys. And so Nick is going to take off now. Rodrigo and I are going to stick around for a Q&A session. We're going to answer all of your questions, anything that you have. We are not super advanced options traders like Nick, but we can answer some basic stuff. But mostly, I know that a lot of you probably have questions about the chat room, how it works. So bring that stuff to us. Let us know how the subscription, or let us know what questions you have about the subscription. And Michael and Patrick, thank you, and thank you. So Nick won't give away simple.
Right. Well, this is where it gets good, you know. So we were waiting till the end for this. So because ultimately this is where we get a little bit personal with our trading journey, right? You heard about Nick, you heard about, you know, the mentor, right? But I like you maybe to hear a little bit about journeys that, you know, ourselves as traders have gone through, because we've made some mistakes, and part of making those mistakes is to not do them again. But obviously you and I don't know each other, so there's no way to do that. Ultimately, this chat is what has helped me, right? Working with that community, because like you see the trades that Nick is putting, right? TLT, GLD, he's banking on trades with fundamentals, right? We're not trading AMC. We're not doing these things that can really hurt your account, because that's not what we're going for. This is educational, and everybody can realize that. But John Claude, how much is the subscription to the chat room? Let's drop the link in there, Neil, because I've been getting a lot of emails. John Claude, I'm seeing you emailed me. So I'm going to put here the link in the chat. Maybe Neil can help me with that.
I got it.
Okay. And basically, I just want you to know this deal is until midnight. So please, like, don't make it tough on me calling me, you know, tomorrow or the next day, because I'll go back for you. Okay. But like, you know, it's like, let's just try to get what we can right now, because we don't know if we're going to get more laptops. Honestly, we're pushing it here for you guys.
Yep.
But yeah, Neil, I know you have a little bit of, you know, with options, you've been, you know, nibbling there. So like, what's a little bit that you've seen, like how you've improved with options, what you've learned from Nick?
Yeah. So what I can say is that I do. So with every trade, a lot of the subscribers here know that Nick will often give a simple single leg trade as well as a spread trade. I do both. And that's because my account allows me to. You guys as current subscribers, many of you here know that has worked out. He just has excellent trades. What I think is great about it, though, is Frank. I'm not saying this because I work at Benzinga or because I'm friends with Nick or anything. Nick is one of the best just stock pickers. Just he's one of the best traders that I know, period. For those of you that are familiar with us probably know Dennis Dick. These are traders that are not on CNBC. They don't comment on stuff like that. They're actual traders for a living. That's what they do day in and day out. So for Nick, you know, it's like doing stuff in his sleep, and he's been doing it for decades. So Nick's technical analysis, I'll tell you this, actually, Rodrigo, my chart settings are almost exactly Nick's settings.
Me too.
Yeah. So it's like I've taken off stuff that I thought was really cool from other stuff that I've like other courses that I've taken, removed it and just stuck to like Nick's like fundamentals, resistance, support. He looks at like he has a scope of fundamentals that he looks at for an organization. He has a really good sense of this is one thing. This is where the mentorship really, really comes in, because it can't be just taught in text. And I've learned this from him, is when is it the right time to go against the market? And I think think he gave like 6 examples of that, where folks were saying, right, I think they were bullish on financials and he went bearish, or like perhaps the other direction. But the idea is when there's blood in the street, when people are scared, he's buying the fear and going into it. He's selling insurance to folks when he has an alternate thesis to the majority of traders. And that's where you get your margins. That is the information arbitrage that makes you a successful trader. And you only get that information arbitrage by understanding what you see before you with the data that you have. And for Nick, that's price action, some indicators on his charts. So there's some good quality technical analysis. And then the fundamental analysis of, is this company valued appropriately? Is it undervalued or is it overvalued? Are people selling this thing off way more than they should? Should I be taking a net bull position in some form of options trade on it? And that's what you're getting. So learning that stuff is just pure mentorship, like mentor-mentee type stuff. And that's what I really like. Like, I get the opportunity to talk to Nick, do these webinars with him, join in the chat room. And I think that's probably my favorite thing about it, because that's the stuff that will stick with me. That's the stuff that 5 years from now, when my little brother is old enough and he has got enough money to trade, I'll be able to sit down with little bro Derek and say, okay, these are the things I know. Think about it like this, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I like about it. What about you, Rodrigo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know that, like, since Nick started the chat, maybe you did get a little jealous because he's spending more time with the subscribers, but that was going to happen, Neil, right? He eventually was going to be more with the subscribers, but ultimately, I want this question from Charisma Fernandez. So, do they do common stocks and not just options in the chat room? So, let me just dwell on this a bit. People join this subscription sometimes not even to trade, but just to learn. So this is an educational product here that you really will either learn, earn, both. But people are in different stages. So some people will join just for the education, right? They're doing paper trading, or they want to get ready before they start. Other people get ready and they get the education at the same time, because Nick is giving you the trade. He's literally holding your hand. He's giving you full explanation so that you ultimately can recognize these opportunities in the market and also bring that feedback to him. Remember, we're a team. We're a squad. We work together. We trade together. Mm-hmm. So Charisma, people join here for education. People join here for his technical analysis. People join here for the community. People join here to make money, learn, or all those together. Yep. Ultimately, this is something that benefits you, and you kind of want to start early. So let's say when a tree's coming up, right? If you don't correct how the tree is growing up at an early stage and it's bent, unfortunately, when it's too big, you cannot fix that tree back. So the education works the same way. You want to get the education when you're starting out so that you grow up, right, straight like a normal tree, right? And then ultimately you do things the right way. I touched on this point prior, and I just want to focus on it. You have doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers. They don't just show up at the website, at the site, or their job, or the ER room, and just wing it. Like, ultimately, that's very irresponsible, and that's really not what we're trying to do here. We want you to trade responsibly with a community. Ultimately, that's why you need the education before you go out. So don't get in a rush to start, right? Don't rush yourself to that.
Yep. Absolutely. And there was a very poetical analogy of getting a tree to start off the right way. I mean, and really what that translates to also is, don't waste your time. Like, we all only have so much time in this life. And if you want to make money in a certain way, in this case, making money on financial markets, get in with the right crowd. All right, get in with the right people, have that experience rub off on you, and then the whole time, every single day, you're getting an actual trade, like spoon fed to you. So I love this. I think it's a beautiful combination of immediate satisfaction, which, as much as some of us might not want to admit it, we all want immediate satisfaction. Just give me the trade, give me the idea. You're going to get that, but then you're also going to get the learning. You're going to be in with the right crowd. You're going to have Nick, who has a very well-honed, weathered, seasoned, decades honed trading strategy that you're going to learn and profit while you learn that. So that's the goal.
Neil, who doesn't want 90% like win ratio?
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned the win rate
Yeah.
here at all, but with this option strategy, Nick maintains a proven 90% win rate. And I think it's tipranks.com, or if you look him up on tipranks, he's got like he's like the sixth, according to tipranks, like I forgot what the number is. I have to look on the site, but he's like the sixth best trader in the world or something like that.
Yeah, with options. I mean, with options, Nick Shaheen has, I mean, he's been with us for like 12 years. Benzinga's been rocking it. And I don't think we touched on this point. Ultimately, this is a community of retail traders. That's why we have to stick together. CNBC, you could call it a community of hedge funds and Carl Icahns and all these people that ultimately, you know, they're the ones that end up pulling the rug under the market and then suck us in, right? Retail traders. So that's why we have to work together, because we have to literally, we have our eyeballs in different places, just like they do. They have analysts, they got researchers, they got people that are doing this for them. So ultimately the community, it's the same thing. It's like we're doing our own thing here, but we're covering for each other. And that's what you don't have out there. Because I promise you, if you trade off CNBC's like TV, they'll send their friend in there. He'll say, buy this. Then the next week he's there saying it went too high. I shorted it down and this and that. And guess what? Everybody, their subscribers got, you know, rugged in, pulled in. So
rugged in, pulled in. So I mean, we look, we have friends at CNBC we're Benzinga. I mean, we're in media, and we've got, there are a ton of great folks on CNBC that absolutely are not full of baloney and are doing their best to tell you the truth. Just to name a few is like Josh Brown, for example. He's just no BS. He's 100% retail traders got their back. But it's old school media. You know, it's slower. It's not to the point. That's not what you're getting here. I like, if you're watching just CNBC or you're watching any sort of cable broadcasting stock network to get your ideas for trading, you're going to hold the bag. That's all there is to it. You're just too late. If it made it to the news, the action already happened, and if you buy then, or if you sell then, if it's a short position or whatever.
Well, and that's what I mean. Like it's not really like the way that Nick does it. He really goes by fundamentals, Neil. Like ultimately, he's like, you saw him talk about AMC. He's not bullish on AMC. You probably find somewhere else where they'll tell you, you know, there's a battle. Why? Because they just want to sell. They want to pump you up and sell you the news. This is a serious education course that you are, you know, it's not like what that is. So ultimately, the goal is to make you money, not just pump you up about AMC or meme stocks, because that's not what we want, you know?
And let me put this in perspective. If the content in the chat room doesn't help you become successful, or at least make you poised in a way that you are convinced will make you successful within the first 14 days, get a money back guarantee. That's all there is to it. That's like, we believe in this so much. It's black and white. You're either not a subscriber or you're a subscriber. Once you become a subscriber, you've got 2 weeks to check it out, to try it out. And if you don't feel like it's going to make your money back for the subscription, just ask for a refund. That's it.
Yeah. So ultimately, this could be a free 14-day course. If you really just want to go in and do the 14 days, it's really a free 14-day course where you can literally get your options trading game down. But the people that get in and make money, they don't get out, right? Counterintuitive. So, and also any questions that you have, I'm going to drop my information here really quick, because if you guys want to talk a little bit more, get a little bit more personal, I like to hear your story. I like to hear where you're coming from with options. Ultimately, you know, I like to get to know you guys as subscribers and get to see what you like, what you don't like, because at the end of the day, we're here for you guys. And that was kind of what I was trying to go at, Neil. We are for the retail trader. We got their back. We're hooking them up with laptops, real education that you don't find out there. Like, we just went over 7 or 6 types of option trades from a verified mentor, not some random Twitter handle, you know what I mean? So
yep. And we got a question here, Ted Rampon. I'm not sure if we covered this. Can I make payments? I would say contact Rodrigo and you guys can work something out, because I know I think there might be a way to do something.
Yeah, just give me a call if anything. Ultimately, I mean, I'm trying to help you out. This is ultimately going to help you, you know, not me. So if I can help you with anything, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out here.
And then Krunel says, do we need Benzinga Pro to subscribe to Nick's chat room, or are they independent? They're independent. This is pure chat room trading. So it's like really all you need is a brokerage and the chat room. You don't need a Benzinga Pro account.
Yep. This is active. So in the chat room, Nick is going to literally post a daily game plan. So just to double down on that with you guys, he starts tracking the indexes because you got to look at the market top to bottom, right? Top to bottom, and then you do stock it. And from there, he's going to give you picks, like I think it's 3 to 5 picks a day on the bull or bear side, because the stock has reached a certain point where it's time to take action. And when it's time to take action, you want to ask the right person, how do we take action, right? Because ultimately, if we're new in options, some of us might just fall into the trap of just trading calls and puts, Neil. And you know that 85 or something like that % of options expire worthless, which is ultimately why you want to be the seller, not the buyer. That's what Nick does. That's why he's the pro at this, because he knows that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I approached this as a sprint the first couple times, and I blew up my account twice. And I didn't learn the first time. It took 2 times, right? So don't do that to yourself. Don't punish yourself. Don't mess up like everybody else has been for the past 20, 40, 50 years, and just move on from that, because you're saving yourself all that pain of trying to wing it, trying to, it's just, I don't want you to fall in the traps that I did. So ultimately,
I love that. And Luke and I have a joke, and I think that this might be a lot of other traders say this, but you're not a real trader until you've blown up at least one account. And by blown up an account, I mean, that means like made 1 or 2 bad trades that depleted the value of your whole portfolio.
Couple dollars, yeah.
a couple dollars, yeah, just a couple. And depending on the size of your account, I mean, the worst blow up that I've had, 10,000, like shy of 10,000. And that was on a handful of just single leg call options trades where I didn't have a stop loss and I let them run. And so I just completely lost all of my value, and I was like all ready to become like get my account up to 100,000 right there, and just lost it all. And that was enough to scare the heck out of me and like stop and take inventory of what I was doing. But I know folks have way more serious blow up stories than that.
Neil, actually, well, I mean, I talk a lot with subscribers here. I got like 10 voicemails and 50 emails right now. And I'm going to get back to all you guys because I know you want to talk to me and it's mutual. I want to hear from you too. So this is actually very common, Neil. It actually happened something similar to me. But as I talk to the people all around the world, because remember, we are a global community. I hear stories from, many different angles. And there's people that have really lost over $200,000 because they got into options and they got lured into the calls, just naked calls and naked puts where it says unlimited gains. So it's like buying a lottery ticket. Your odds are better with the lottery than, 85, 90% of calls expire worthless. So you got to look at the numbers, you got to look at the math, and you got to trade with the house. Right? The house being market makers and big money. You don't want to trade against that. You got to trade with that. So that's something that I've seen that Nick and Neil have been working.
I get it right sometimes when I'm listening. So I just real quick, JA39, without giving too much of your email away, congratulations and welcome to the family, man. Or man to person. Thank you for joining. I cannot tell from your email address, but thank you for joining and congratulations.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it.
Brown, Alec, Scott, Tim, Joe, Jason, Mark, Michael.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining here, guys. This is great. You guys are gonna love it. Tomorrow we start our game plan, just so you know, but we also do have a chat member only for options, right? So if you're part of the chat member, if you're a chat member here, you're going to join Nick every weekend. And that's Nick goes on, man. I've seen him for a couple hours. He says an hour, 30 minutes, but I've seen him stay longer. But he'll do it for you. He'll do it for you because ultimately we're here for you. So thanks for joining, guys. Ultimately, this is really where it begins. Your journey, if you're new, this is where it begins. This is where I recommend that you get a pen, paper, and Benzinga options, Nick Shaheen, because ultimately what you're doing here, what you're getting here, somebody else could charge you 50, 100 grand for this education because it's, I mean, come
Really,
on,
yeah,
guys.
there are trading courses that are like
Yeah.
$50,000 for just normal retail traders, and it's just such a trap. Like
It's
this
just
is
presentation. It's like a quick 2-minute presentation, and that's it. Goodbye. This
Yeah.
is a hands-on, like one-on-one coaching. It doesn't exist. Nobody takes the time to do this.
every single day with actual examples responding to the market. Not like this is what was going on in the 90s, and here's some example with AT&T and blah blah blah. This is actual live, real market, real actual trading in the chat room, and you know what? It's fun. It is like I have to admit, it is just addicting and fun. And if you can do this, like trading unto itself is a very exciting thing. But when you're doing this in an environment where you have a very, very risk adverse mentor, who is always very honest about what he sees going on in the market, and if there's a day where we're saying we're not trading today, we're sitting on our hands, that's a good thing to have that restraint and that discipline, and that awareness of the market. So yes, discipline, absolutely. We're not trading for the sake of trading. We're doing it to preserve capital and grow our portfolio. That's what this is about. This is about not. I mentioned blowing up my account. Rodrigo, you mentioned we've heard stories where folks will say, I don't know what's going on, but like we have people that email in and say, hey, I'm down like $120,000. What should I do? And of course we don't have an answer for that.
Right.
But we hear those stories, and this is about avoiding that. So I think this is the best investment on the market for getting into a successful trading.
That's why you have to get it before. So like Neil, and I wish I could just go back in time and have this personally, so I wouldn't have blown up my account twice. I wouldn't have had to start from zero, right? You blow your account, you start from zero. But if you're not, like, if you really don't have access to capital after you blow up your account, you might be permanently out of the markets could be years until you come back and recover. So, like, take your money seriously. Get the education before you go out there and do this.
And mentally, it's not nice to go through.
It's horrible.
It's absolutely horrible. It is. I mean, when someone doesn't have a really disciplined plan, whether they're saying I'm not trading today, or the willingness and understanding of how to go short the market or how to go short certain stocks, when they don't have that, you can tell by their mood, by traders, how it affects every aspect of their life, because they're losing money because they don't have a disciplined stop loss plan, a disciplined options insurance plan. So sort of if the stock goes up, if the stock goes down, we still make money because I know the market is volatile, or I expect the market to go sideways. If you don't have that sort of plan in place, you're really setting yourself up
for failure.
A really sucky situation.
We're just lucky that we're here at Benzinga, that we actually have that privilege to be able to talk to Nick. But this is kind of like where I'm trying to go at. Like, if I'd had this really when I started, could have saved me a lot of money, pain, frustration. Like, that's really not the best route, man. Like, there's a better way. Yeah. There's a better way. Like, it's called not blowing up your account and getting education, right? That's why doctors don't just jump into ERs and say, let me try to wing this heart surgery, man. Let's see if I can do it, right? It doesn't happen. You go to certifications, education, decades of education. This is not different. Traders are banking money. Like, traders make hundreds of thousands of dollars. People make millions in trading. What makes you think this is going to be easier than studying to becoming a lawyer or a doctor? So we need to approach this the right way, guys. Don't get sucked into the whole Reddit mentality, all in with calls. Like, I did that. It wasn't good. Didn't end good. And I don't want any of you guys to go through that. So ultimately, this is coming from experience. And, I'm not a mentor or anything, but at least you can learn from my mess ups and my mistakes, so that, you can, obviously this is very basic to Nick, what I'm saying, but because he's way more advanced, but a lot of you guys are new. And I kind of want I want to save you that path. So right now you got two roads, and you can either wing it, blow up your account. You're going to call me next week and tell me, hey, can I get the education? I just blew up my whole account. or you can just get the education and then call me and tell me, Rodrigo, thanks for the education. It's been working. Thank you. And the people that do go that way, they're happier traders because they did do things the right way. So, let's just take the education as it is. It's necessary in this market, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. In DS, how long after the recommendation should the trade be made? With almost pretty much all of our trades, since it's options, we're giving you the price of the options contract. So in most cases, it's best to act immediately. It's always best to act immediately upon receiving
or the trigger.
or when the yeah, exactly. So a trigger may be given if a price target is hit. But you can see so sometimes I'll get a notification from Nick yesterday, right? I don't get it until 1 PM the following day. I'll look at the trade, make sure everything's still in place. And the primary thing that tells me it's still in place is the price of the contracts. If they haven't changed too much, then I'll go ahead and enter. And that's kind of, and you'll get a better sense of that as you go. But that's the whole idea of having a chat room. You get that notification and you make that thing right away. That's the best place to be active.
So, DS, how long after the recording should the trade be made? So these are live. This is a live chat room. And guys, I want you to hit me with the questions. Ask me. Let's go over this right now because I want everybody to get any questions you have out of the way. We're doing this just to answer any questions you have. If you're unsure about signing up or, questions about how this would benefit you, want to make sure we can get everything in there.
Yep. And Rodrigo, I want you to be able to help these guys out. Stick around for a little bit. I need to take off. I got to get ready for the next thing. You know how to close this, right?
Yeah.
When it's time. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, just keep asking questions until about midnight tonight and keep Rodrigo for the next, what do you think you can do? Like 14 more hours of this?
We could do a couple of weeks nonstop.
Couple of weeks nonstop live stream. Yeah. So guys, be kind to Rodrigo. He's really here to help you. There's his information on the screen. But make sure if you have questions, again, ask questions about the subscription, anything. Take this opportunity now. Make sure you know what you're getting into. A bunch of you have joined the family. I mean, like we said, right? I mean, I can't count them because I just see a list of people, but it's got to be like 36 that have joined during the session. So big congrats to those that have. And if you're still sticking around, thanks for sticking around. But if you haven't gotten off the fence yet, I encourage you, just get this killer deal. There's nothing like it on the market. It's such a good investment. But I'm going to take off, Rodrigo. Good luck. And thank you guys for spending 3 hours with us now, just about. Hopefully you join the chat room and I'll see you on Monday. So Neil out.
Okay. All right, Neil. So now that Neil's out of here, we can get a little bit more personal here with the trading, guys. So let's go over a couple questions that you have here. I do want to hear a little bit, of where you're coming from. So Richard, you learned a lot from people's story, just like yours, because you listen, learn, and apply. Well, ultimately, that's really the formula for success, right? If you don't listen, how are you going to learn? If you're, and that's what, I'm going back to trading in a vacuum, right? Don't trade in a vacuum. Don't do those mistakes. As traders, we lock ourselves in an office, really just looking at screens, and we expect to be right. We think our due diligence is like top of the line, right? And there we're CNBC turned on all day. So we're just doing everything wrong. Ultimately, we have to remember that if we don't listen to people that have gone through the struggles, you're bound to go through the struggles. So there's a quote that I don't remember exactly off the top of my head that, if you don't know the history, you're bound to repeat it. And that's literally serves for anything that you do in life. If you're trying to trade and you don't really have any education on it, how do you think you're going to, this is what I'm trying to figure out. How do people think they're going to, kill it and go, make 100 times returns if they have zero education? It just doesn't connect the dots. And ultimately, that's where I want it to be, right? Where we're all on the same page. We're all asking Nick about the picks that he's putting out there. If you have any research or question about any of your picks that you are doing, you can also ask him about it. The chat room is 100% subscriber controlled. There were some people asking there about the Chinese stocks. I brought this up briefly when Nick was here, and you really bring in what you want Nick to look at, and he'll tell you, maybe, okay, I would trade it this way. Well, people that did that banked money on it, right? So, and it's something that I was not even looking at. I'm not looking at the Chinese stocks, but if Nick gives out an opinion on it, I might consider it. But I did listen to him, and I did bank on that trade too. We banked on Tesla, that run from 600 to 700. We made some, a lot of subscribers were in on that. FXI, I mean, we've just GLD, TLT. Ultimately, Nick is very fundamental driven. Like Nick really knows how the interest rates interact with inflation and how that interacts with the dollar and Bitcoin and asset pricing and which asset pricing, right? So don't try to wing it. This thing is complicated enough. Trust me, I have a finance background and stuff like that. So we all need the education. Nobody teaches us in the university. In finance, you barely touch on this, like baby steps. They don't show you the real inner workings of the market. You usually only learn that by actually being in the market. So if you're not in the market, how are you going to learn? But then being in the market, you got to ask the right questions. Having a mentor. And a lot of us don't have that. I didn't have that. Huge mistake. But let's get back here to your questions. Charisma, feel free to email me if you have any questions so I can get with you on that. Carrie, you're already a beginner and premium option call member of Benzinga. Well, that's great, man, Carrie. It's good to have you here. Your name's very familiar. We've probably spoken, I don't know. But if you are in there, you're already familiar with Nick's due diligence. You already know he goes above and beyond for all you guys. So Aero Scenic Views. So how much minimum capital do you recommend to start? So ultimately, I mean, in the stock market, you really only want to put in what you're willing to risk initially, right? Number one. The other thing would be with Nick, I mean, really, it does help you having him there because I've seen people that ask the same question, and I kind of talk about this almost every time. Some people start there with just a couple $1,000s. Other people will start there with $500,000 accounts. I mean, I talk to people from all ranges. I talk to traders from all over the world, and they tell me about things they go through, and we learn about each other. And ultimately, that's what we do in the community. We really work together. We share our experiences. Ultimately, we're verified, real human beings. We're not fake bots on Discord or any of that stuff. So ultimately, you can even make friends. Like I've seen Nick, he's become friends with a lot of the chat members because ultimately you're spending the whole day with an options mentor. Literally, don't go do your own thing. If you got a part-time, go to your part-time. You can still look at the chat room. Then you come back, you can ask a question, and Nick is answering like right away. There's no delay. So it's real-time analysis of anything that you're looking at. If you have your own picks, or if let's say you saw some breaking news and you just bring that to Nick, and then we digest that news as a group, because ultimately the mass is always going to be better than the one or two, right? So in the weekend sessions, we have weekend chat member only sessions for options, right? And Nick runs the game there. So he's going over tickers. We're getting ready for the next week. We're getting ready. We are recapping on the prior week. And that's kind of where we learn about the mistakes that we did. And it's an open forum. Feel free to ask any questions that you have, because ultimately we're all there to learn and make money. So ask your questions. Don't be shy. Something I did regret in school was maybe not asking more questions, because eventually the test will come and you don't want to fail the test, which is in this case losing money. So it's almost like you have to study, and that's really what it is. You have to be there in the class, in the chat room, seeing what other people are asking, because they have a question that you might have not even thought of. So that already answers you one question. And then you're looking at picks from Nick that chat members bring in, and Nick digests the trade and pretty much gives you the best way to trade that with options. So Carrie, we grind for you guys. We grind for you guys, and don't worry. I will hook each and every one of you guys up with a laptop. It's trust me, I will go through everything I have to go through, but I'm making sure that if you get the annual, because we only do annual, it's only annual, right? If you do this, I will pretty much make sure that you're hooked up with a laptop. Okay, don't worry about that. Error scenic view, so minimal, yeah, we got to you. So I'm glad. I hope that helped you a bit. DS, you like the whole program. You know it's successful and works. It is a good value. Okay, the problem is limited trading hours. Okay, because of the day job. So DS, look, I mean, I have a day job. I do a lot of things, and I still trade. I'm not stopping. You have to ultimately focus on what makes you money. If you have to do whatever you have to do to make money with options, well, that's what it is. That's the name of the game. It's not easy. Life is a grind. Nothing's given to you in a golden, platter, but you have to grind your way through it. It's always going to be a struggle at the beginning, but ultimately the people that are successful, the people that do make money and stay long enough in the market to catch those big wins are the people that trade responsibly, not the people that blow up their account, because guess what? They're not there tomorrow. Okay, so you have to trade responsibly. And look, I love the program too, man. I got my chat room open all day. And I'm still working. So ultimately, if you can, even at the end of the day or your shift, maybe you can go there to the chat and just go over everything and maybe take down some notes, because you'll have charts with technical analysis done by Nick, and you can recap it and have your questions ready for the next day, right? And then that way you start building your notes on things that you're learning. Oh, well, now I know this type of trade. Well, when would you use this kind of trade? And always check with Nick. Always check in with Nick if you have any questions on, how to do the trade and all that. So DS, I feel you, man. I know where you're coming from. I think a lot of us have really started out that way. We were working and then got into trading, and eventually we kind of moved into the trading more, got some successful trades, and trade responsibly. As long as you trade responsibly, you're really not risking 100% of your account like you're doing with a call or a put, just individual. Nick does a lot of credit put spreads, which does involve, insurance on the trade. So even if it does go down, you always have a plan. There's always a strategy, and you don't risk 100% of the trade like you do with basic call or basic put. So are all of Nick's option trades made available in the chat? DS, great question, man. So Nick's option trades for the chat room are for the chat room. These are trades that are hot, straight out the oven. Like Nick gets an alert, is literally putting the trade as he's doing the educational part to send to you guys. So the quicker, the better, because you do get literally Nick's entry. And I'll tell you something, Nick knows about good entries. I know because I put his trades. So let's see. Carrie Drake, what are your hours during the day? Well, Carrie, I work 7 days a week, man. I'm in touch with subscribers all day, and the weekend, from the morning till late at night. I'm in the chat room. I'm talking to subscribers by email, on the phone. We talk about really a lot of things, man. Ultimately, we're doing something different that nobody else is doing. We're giving you 24/7 access to an options mentor with decades of experience, with a verifiable track record here with Benzinga. That people just come to us for options. They want to learn about options. So I just want to make sure here that you guys have what you need to make sure you get this 70% off, because it's valid till midnight. It's going to be tough maybe if you call me tomorrow or the next day and try to get this, but just try to make it before, I'm going to make sure we hook you up with a laptop, but the discount, just try to get in there before we actually do have to do the cutoff time on this. And there is a certain cap to the size of the chat room for quality purposes, of course. So make sure that you can get in while you can. So just want to make sure that everybody knows at least where to sign in. And also, if you have my contact information, I don't see a lot more questions here, so I don't know if you guys want me to stay around and go over a couple more things. Let me know in the chat. There's 70 people here. Let me know. Let me know what you want to do here. If you want me to go over a couple questions that you have, if you have, and doubts, whatever it is. let me know. Let's give it a couple seconds here before we end the stream for today. I'm going to leave my contact information there. So if you do have any questions and you do want to go over this in detail, how it can help you, I know we all come from different backgrounds, but ultimately the education is there, man, and you need it. There's no way you need the education. That shouldn't even be like something you need to be thinking about. It's almost should be a requirement even to trade, if you ask me, but because that way we don't have people that blow up their account like me twice, right? So don't do that. Don't do the mistakes that I did. And you're welcome, guys. Carrie, do we get email trades? The emails for the chat room. So the trades are in the chat. Being in the chat is equivalent of being in the options seminar. And right, so these are daily. So this is a seminar that you're attending every day. We do it via chat because we have so many people in there that, you know, we have to do it this way. Being a global company, also that's the best way to do it. So the trades will be in the chat room, but these are chat only trades. These are trades that are hot right at the oven. Nick literally is getting alerted, doing his magic, you know, doing his analysis, at the same time putting in the trade because these are his trades, okay? These are not trades you just randomly get. These are Nick's trades. This is what he's doing. You saw his spreadsheets. You saw that, how it's working. So I hope that answers your question, Carrie. And Ted, just to confirm, yeah, we do. Well, I mean, yes, you could pull this up on your phone. I know people that have full-time jobs or part-time jobs or are on vacation and they still want to put in a trade or two. Well, you can get in there from your phone. That's not a problem. I usually do it on, I mean, we're giving you a free laptop with this. So ultimately you can have that I mean, you know, you could do it there, but hours of the chat room, we are, I mean, obviously Nick has to sleep and, you know, he's got a family and everything, but to be honest, he's there pretty early. He's there. I've seen him, you know, 7:30 in the morning Eastern. I've seen him earlier. He comes out with a daily game plan in the early morning. So that way you're not scrambling for trades. You're getting this literally like, boom, delivered in like in a simple format with a chart, with technical analysis, with notes, so that you really understand the logistics of the trade, the reason why the trade is being taken. You're also going to get support, resistance, indications. Like the other time, he put a 20-minute video because some people were asking about some Chinese stocks. So Nick is going to go to bat for you. Don't worry about that. That's for sure, man. So yeah, hours of the chat room, Charisma. He's there very early. He's there till late. We also have the weekend chat member only sessions. These are chat member only. So Nick runs that. You know, pretty much he goes over tickers with you. He gets ready for trades for the next week. He goes over the prior week, and also we have to digest the news, guys. I don't like getting news that has a sprinkle here or a sprinkle there. I like to get the facts, and Nick's pretty good at that. So. Okay, yeah. So Carrie, yeah, let your phone run all day, man. Of course, unless you don't want to learn, yeah, of course, man. Let that phone run. But you can also use the laptop that we're sending you, Ted. Okay, it's free. Don't worry. We'll hook it up. Okay. So we covered the hours of the chat room. We covered the phone app. Where the trades are. Richard, thank you, man, for being here with us. I appreciate it. If you take your education seriously, I take you seriously. Does that make sense? We're all here to learn and make money, right? So let's just kind of focus on that. Is the chat available at night? Yeah. Just because Nick is sleeping doesn't mean we stop grinding, guys. Let's just get that out of the way. Nick grinds all day, nonstop, weekends, week outs, and ultimately, you know, the man has to sleep. But, you know, as a community, we're all in there all the time. So you could be having conversations with chat members at any point of the day or night or weekend or holiday. There's no restriction on that. You have total freedom to ask whatever. You know, we want to help you guys. So it's open even on Saturdays and Sundays. You see, I don't know a lot of, you know, education courses that really even want to interact with you on the weekends, right? They say weekends are for me, right? I don't do weekends. Well, we actually care about you. So yeah, we do weekends. We do weekends every single weekend. Chat room is open for you guys. We do these webinars out because we grind out for you. That's the only reason we do it. This is not for fun. This literally is to get the information out there. There's a lot of new option traders that really need some direction, need some help with the education. And that's really the gap that we're filling, right? We're giving you the education. So you would do this on your day offs. Ted, I'll see you there on the weekend. I mean, look, it's Sunday. Like, we're here, right? Chat room's open all day, man. All day, every day, weekends, nights. If you want to throw a party in the chat room, throw it, man. We'll be there, okay? Let's see. Hey, just wanted to say thank you. The free session was great. No problem, man. Starting to learn, but need to get some hands-on for things to sink in. And that's what we're here for, man. That's what we're here for. You can call me anytime. My number's there. That's literally my, where's this thing? Okay, yeah, right here. Right there. There's a lag here. Okay. So yeah, you can call me at that number. And I mean, I get to emails on the weekend. I get to the phones on the weekend. Like I said, it's Sunday. Okay. And I'll be calling some of you guys back. I got like 50 voicemails here. So, and like 45 emails. So I'll be busy getting back to all you guys. So yes, Ted, we're there on the weekends. We're today here on the weekend. I mean, we're talking the talk and walking the walk, man. That's what we do. When asking questions in the chat, what should we be bringing to the table? Pen and paper, the first thing. In other ways, what's the right way to ask a question on options? Well, there's never a wrong way to ask any question. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Any question is a good question. What you are trying to find out, I guarantee you we got thousands of subscribers there, like thousands. I can guarantee you that what you're asking, there is like a cohort of people that also want to know. I've signed almost literally everybody in this chat room there. So I can tell you that we have a good mix there of really advanced traders and, people that are starting that really care about the education, really care about getting that financial literacy right at an early stage, or, whenever you're ready. Ultimately, you do have to commit yourself to this. It's not something that I would do if I don't really want to make money with options or in the markets. If I'm not taking it seriously, that's something different. But if you really want to find that level where you can trade options and do this for a living and not have to clock in and clock out somewhere else, then you have to take it seriously, because that's what this is. It's a course, it's a seminar, but only that it's for a full year. It's a full year with full access to Nick Shaheen, like Monday through Friday and weekends with calls and everything. So every question that you have, Husbub, pen and paper, write them down. Doesn't matter how, obviously, respectfully, right? We're all respectful in the chat room. We all have, we're all trying to make money. So let's make sure we know why we're there, and to learn. So when you're asking a question, just ask the question. Nick is answering all sorts of questions there all day, regardless really of what it is. We touch on basics, we talk on advanced topics. So, that's really where the chat room goes. So I'm going to leave here, and thank you guys for joining here. Ted, thank you for joining. Husbub. I know a lot of people just signed up here just with the Q&A, because ultimately we want this to be, that we're all on the same page, right? So I'm just going to drop this link one last time before I go. Just know this is valid till midnight. So if you want to call me or talk to me before this expires, go ahead. I'll be available. I actually got some people to get back to. So thank you guys very much for joining. We really appreciate having you guys here and, taking your education seriously. So I'm dropping the link there for the chat room, free laptop, 70% off, chat room all day, daily picks every single day, and weekend chat member only sessions. Okay. Valid till midnight. And I'll drop my information here in case you need it. If anybody else has any questions, let me know before we can go ahead and turn the stream off and get back to you, because I know you guys definitely want to hear more about this and get started, because Monday we start hard with Nick, okay? We got a game plan ready and we're going to go hard. So if there's anything else you guys need, contact me and I'll be more than happy to help you guys. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the chat room, guys. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day. Happy trading.